it up, Badlands. Explain those Badlands. That's a hell of a name.
Hello, hello, everybody, and welcome to Badlands Media special event coverage. We're covering the 119th Congress vote for Speaker of the House and keeping an eye on house.gov for when they come back. It says, well, here, let me share this.
Well, they've got this up on C-SPAN.
Huh. Well, that's interesting because check this out.
Hey, Steve Scalise
These
walking
guys
down.
are over on house.gov. It still says adjourned.
Till 11 a.m. on Friday. It's 12.
Till 11 a.m. on Friday, but that's what's live when you go to house.gov and hit watch at the bottom. That's what's live for me.
I'm going C-SPAN. I'm going C-SPAN.
C-SPAN works?
Yeah, so we'll keep this. Oh, there he is. He's going to stand up and do his long, I nominate the man from whatever, Hakeem, blah, 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 Jeffries. Yeah, he has to make
Yawn
that
emoji.
Man,
Al Green that Brian's talking about.
Yeah, Al Green. There you go. His name has evaded me for a moment there.
Mm-hmm.
But,
so,
there's the hip. There's the hip. Nancy Pelosi with her hip surgery. Where's her walker?
Well, I see DWS. What flavor do you think her hair is today? Chicken, shrimp, Oriental?
Chicken ramen is the best. Chicken ramen.
I think the Oriental ramen is the best.
Nah, chicken, man. Chicken for the win.
I think they call it soy sauce now because Oriental is racist to say.
I am the ramen noodle professional serving in Afghanistan.
Well, she was your congresswoman, so
she was.
You do have an experience gap on me for sure.
I also believe I was the first person to designate her ramen noodle hair.
I don't know if that's true.
I've been saying that for about 8 years now. So,
oh well, maybe it is.
Yeah, I've been saying that for about 8 years, going back to the Obama administration.
Yeah, she's the poster child for why you should never get a perm. For real. So I want to play this clip while we're waiting. If you keep an eye on that, it's about 1 minute and 14 seconds.
Okay.
From CNN.
We should just note there's already one hard no, and that is Representative Thomas Massie of Kentucky. Here he is.
I am the one hell no. You know, they say there's up to 5 or 6 who may be voting no. You can count on me to be a no. You can pull all my fingernails out. You can shove bamboo up in them. You can start cutting off my fingers. I am not voting for Mike Johnson.
And a couple of other Republicans to watch really closely this morning. Representative Chip Roy getting some structural changes to how Johnson does business in the House. We are also awaiting whether or not Representative Victoria Spartz would get to yes on Speaker Mike Johnson. She's another one who says that she wants concrete demands to be answered from the Speaker of the House. I should note that earlier this week, Donald Trump, the incoming president, made clear that he is standing with Speaker Mike Johnson, and that is weighing on some of the remaining holdouts. I talked to Representative Tim Burchett yesterday, who still had not made up his mind definitively, but he made clear to me that Trump's support for Mike Johnson was not something that members could simply ignore. John?
Yeah. Support for Mike Johnson?
Cam Cooksey Massey looks like they already did pull out his fingernails. He looks freaking rough.
Yeah, me and Chris were talking about that on Daily this morning, and that to be fair, CNN doctored the shit out of that image. Like, he looks rough, but not that rough.
He looks rough.
Yeah, but CNN
like, he's facing black ops guys coming to his house and threatening to pull his fingernails out if he doesn't vote for Johnson. Rough.
Or, I don't know, maybe the AIPAC lobby.
It was an interesting, way to go. Like, he goes right to the torture, and pulling of fingernails out is not just some mythological thing. Here in Colorado, Tren de Aragua members kidnapped a bunch of people and pulled this chick's fingernails out a couple weeks ago. Here, just in Aurora.
Yeah. What do we got going on here? Let's see. They did the pledge. They did. I think they did the roll call. They're going to do
got
the swearing in now.
the Twitter updates from the House floor. Let's see what we got.
We got Anna Paulina Luna over there on the left.
House convenes the first session of the 119th Congress 10 minutes ago, right on time. Also at 11:03, adjustment of the whole number of the House under Clause 5D of Rule XX. The chair announced to the House that in light of the resignation of the gentleman from North Carolina, that's Jeff Jackson, a Democrat, the whole number of the House is now 429.
So 429 is going to be 214, 215 to pass. 215 to pass, right? Because that would be 430 if split evenly. So
Okay.
yes, so 215 to pass. I don't know. I think they're going to get it on the first go. I'd
I
be
do too.
surprised if they didn't.
Yeah, I put that in the brief this morning. That's my prediction. Is it's a straight party line. Maybe you have a couple defectors like Massey. You know, he doesn't want to,
Yeah.
or maybe Massey shows up with a couple less fingers and votes for Johnson.
That would be hilarious. If Massey just comes out and he's like, "Hey, I'm here, guys," and just like bandages over two of his fingers or something. Yeah, that'd be pretty.
But I think it's Speaker on a straight party line, or Johnson on a straight party line.
I agree. Massey's going to be the only no vote because he's got to stand on his convictions, which I appreciate. But everybody else gets on board.
Yeah. Well, they can afford two. They can afford two defectors. So
is it two because of the loss of Jackson? It's two.
Well, Jackson resigned a couple days ago, 3 days ago, I think, and they were reporting they could afford two defectors yesterday.
Okay, I was seeing just one that they could afford if they had
No,
to.
I have it in the brief,
and they lose.
I'll pull the math. I'm not going to do math off the top of my head.
I think just the news was reporting that, and I could double check. Mike Johnson rests on a thin margin. It says the House Speaker will start, but Mike Johnson hold on the gavel rests on a mere 2 votes. There you go. If all representatives are present at 12 p.m. Friday, Johnson will need 218 to win. So that can't be right because 218 would mean 217 would be a split. That's 434. So if there's only 200, that's inaccurate. That's inaccurate. So the 2 votes I think is only if there was a quorum of 434. No, that doesn't make sense either.
435 is 218, right? Because the total number of the House is 435.
Right, but they're missing 3 Republicans, Stefanik, Waltz, and Gates, and they're missing Jackson. So it's 431. And I think that didn't they just say 429 is what they have for today?
429. Yeah, the total number of the House is 429.
So yeah, so it's not 218. If it's 429, it's going to be 215, which would be 1 over, 215 times 2 is 430, which would be 1 over. So it's 215. And I think that the Republicans, that actually favors Republicans, right? Because now they can have they have a 219 majority, don't they?
I don't know. I'll look that up in a second. But an hour ago on the House updates, the House received communication from Representative Gonzalez Colon, where she says she resigns as a member of the House effective 11:59 on January 1st. That was an hour ago posted.
Whoa. Well, Massey's looking better today. There he is. No glasses. He got contacts. Going for a new look.
Lost. No, November 5th.
Oh, what was that?
Yeah, she won the governorship, so that's an expected resignation.
Gotcha. So you got Massey and Chip Roy and a bunch of Freedom Caucus guys there. I'm
gonna pull up the spread that they've got for this.
Yeah, I thought we had 219 and that it could go up to as much as 222 if we win back the 3 seats that we gave up. But I could be off on that. me jump into my Perplexity AI. I'm going to have this thing rolling in the background as we cover this. What is the current divide of the U.S. House of Representatives?
Yeah, I was looking for usually on New York Times, they have that image of all the seats and then they fill them up during the voting. I'm looking for that, but I don't see it.
Okay, so Perplexity AI says the current divide of the 119th Congress is Republicans hold 220 seats, giving them a slim majority. Democrats hold 212. There are currently 3 vacant seats. This Republican majority is historically narrow, with only a 5-seat advantage over the Democrats. It's worth noting that this is the smallest majority in modern history. The Republicans control 50.6% of the seats. 3 Republican seats are expected to be vacant in early 2025, which that's where I guess the 5 seats come from, because it's 217 without them. So that means, again, going back to needing 215, a mere 2 votes. So I think the 2 votes still holds there. With the vacancies.
Vacancies, yeah.
I know.
The vacancies are in Nevada.
I still haven't. Yeah, right. I still haven't had breakfast. So my breakfast is a bag of Siete chips.
Have you had coffee?
I did, but I was missing creamer, so I had to use a little bit of milk, and it's not as good. So I do have coffee though, and eventually I'll get to the point where I start like shaking from too much coffee without food to offset that.
Oh, that's a cute baby.
Is it wearing a cherry dress? Oh, look, the Ukraine flags are back in full swing. There they are. Ukraine. Slava Ukrainia. Send another
really
billion.
looking forward to that being exposed.
Slava.
The amount of money that has been laundered via Ukraine back into each one of their pockets.
Yeah, I'm with you. Ninth Plague asks, how's my dog? My dog is good now. He just had cramps and had like a freak out. Yeah, I had to cut sit rep short last night. Christy came up at the very end of the show and was like crying. And I'm like, what? And she's like whispering in the background, Johnny, Johnny. And I'm like, oh, crap. So I was like, all right, I got to go. And yeah, apparently he couldn't stand up and she was freaking out. So yeah, he's fine. He's fine. All right.
Well, glad to hear it.
Look at all those P's for present. We'll go with present. I was going to use another 5-letter. So adjective. MTG, huddling up. Yeah, I think this is going to be quick. I'm hoping, because last time, what was it, 3 days that we had coverage of this?
5.
5 days?
It took them 5 days, 15 rounds. That wasn't last time, though. That was 2 times ago. Last time it was Speaker John. They put forward a couple other candidates that they didn't have the votes for, but when they finally called the vote, it was Johnson and it was unanimous on the first vote.
Fair enough. But I meant the last new Congress speaker. Yeah.
The original McCarthy play was
good win 15. Hashtag Q. It's my favorite Q drop.
Kara Willow with the Rumble rant. Thank you, Kara. Says, don't Marines drink it black?
No, that's not even close to true. I mean, they might and like say that, but I'm gonna drink what's good, and it's good with a little cream, a little bit of sugar,
candy coffee,
pretty much. Marine here. Yes, black coffee needs nothing else. Steve Craw, you are incorrect.
If it's really good coffee, I can drink any coffee black. It'll even like airport coffee, but
I can drink it. It's just not as enjoyable.
It's not as enjoyable. Yeah.
I can drink it. That's no problem. And we do drink it, black when we're deployed, because we don't really have access to cream. But candy cane, hell no. I hate peppermint.
You hate peppermint?
I hate
like
peppermint.
Full stop. All peppermint things.
Full stop.
You don't like peppermint gum?
My first drinking experience was peppermint schnapps when I was like under 21. We'll just leave it at that. And yeah, I mean, it's not my favorite. If I eat a candy cane, I'm fine, but I'm not going to actively go out and get peppermint flavors. It's not like mayonnaise with me. Mayonnaise is a freaking hard no, but peppermint, I just don't prefer it. I'll eat it. Wintergreen's another one. I can't do that either. And I do have a traumatic story on wintergreen.
Oh, well, let's hear it.
Oh, no. It's way too gross for
Oh,
something
okay.
that's supposed to be professional. Although we did see the New York Post. We did see the New York Post walking through a crime scene in yoga pants. So
What even was that?
that is the biggest. I mean, I would be utterly embarrassed if I was the New York Post, and especially if I was that reporter. What's her name? Jen Tear. I would be
Yeah.
utterly embarrassed that I didn't realize like that you were being set up to walk through a fake crime scene to promote a propaganda narrative. I mean, it's just unbelievable how bad that was.
I can't stand these people. Watching their twisted, smiling faces. I
Hmm.
yeah.
Can we do the vote? Can we do just everybody get seated? Let's do
Aguila and Jeffries just
just everybody sit down. Let's do this. Look at all the people standing around them, these, you know, staffers that are lifelong staffers and just go wherever the best opportunity is. They have no, actual, uh,
Well, to be
foundation.
fair, a lot of them are probably members of the intelligence community.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's what I was getting at. There is no actual allegiance to an agenda or anything like that. It's just wherever they can do the most damage, wherever they can, when you talk about the deep state, you got to talk about the staff for all these bureaucrats and for these congressmen and legislators. It's disgusting, man.
Yeah. Yeah, back to the New Orleans shooter. Did you see that the Quran was open to an ominous passage?
I actually know what the passage is. Did you see my
Was it
post?
about martyrdom?
Yeah, somewhat.
Yeah.
So I was able last night. I paused the video at the moment where it was most clear.
Oh yeah, I
Uh,
saw your ex post about that.
yeah, and I posted the actual passages right there. I was able to find them. So I sent them over to Colonel Towner after SITREP, and I was like, if you know anybody that reads Arabic, or send this off and tell me what it says. And somebody had already, Popcorn Patriot had posted like a transcribed chat what it said, and it's not that bad. I mean, it's typical what you'd expect, kind of like calling for
What
non-believers
you'd
to
expect
be,
from a fake terrorist setup.
yeah, what you'd expect from what the FBI wants you to think about this situation.
Yeah.
But the craziest part was is that Colonel Towner texted me back and said that her source that she sent it to said this is like a kiddie's Bible. So it's like a kiddie Quran. It's like for children. So it's not even like a real professional Quran or whatever. It's like the watered down,
Like a kid's Bible
version.
kind of
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like a picture Bible kind of thing. Yeah.
Oh, this looks very serious with a serious row of people walking in.
Yeah.
Ugh,
Bowling Man
also
says,
fake.
Hub sent me the info about Sean Ryan Manifesto Emergency podcast. I cracked up and told him you and Chris had just called it. So
I love the emergency podcast too. We're doing an emergency podcast today to talk about
Emergency.
Matthew Leivelsberger.
Yeah.
Like, okay. Yeah, I had one of my Colorado Free Press reporters was on the ground yesterday when they raided his house, and there was a bunch of reporters out there, folks, kind of sharing. Nobody believes the story. The family denies that this was this guy. This is so out of character, and so we'll see. His uncle said if he wanted to build a bomb, it wouldn't have been like that. He had the skills to build a proper bomb. He wouldn't have just shoved, gas cans and fireworks into a car.
Yeah. And like, I mean, look, we'll find out more stuff, but how the hell did he shoot himself first and then detonate the bomb?
Yeah.
I mean,
Sounds
did he
like
light the
Patsy.
fuse? Did he light the fuse and it ran from the front of the truck to the back of the truck? So he lit the fuse and then immediately shot himself? I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he blew it up and it didn't kill him. And so like in agony, he shot himself. There's a lot of things that could have happened, but it's pretty strange. It's pretty strange. And of course, the IDs and passports survive. There's the AR pistol that's pictured without an optic. Special Forces Green Beret has a pistol that has no optic, no iron sights, no nothing. Just a Picatinny rail on the top of the rifle with nothing on it. Get the bleep out of here. Doesn't happen. Doesn't happen. RP61 says autopilot on Tesla. Elon did confirm. Again, take it with a grain of salt. I would like to think Elon wouldn't lie about this, but perhaps. But Elon said that the guy was alive the whole time. There was no autopilot taking over and driving him and all that stuff.
Oh, I thought what Elon said was that you have to sense a human, a live human, for autopilot to work.
I thought he just I don't know exactly specifically what he said, but I thought he put that theory to bed. But let me make sure now that you.
Which the Patrick Gunnels, I think, was it was John and Shipwrecked going back and forth on it, I think, on X. And then there's the whole thing about you can summon your Tesla. If there's not a live human in it, you can have it, you can like call it with your cell phone. Kind of disputing there has to be a live person in the car for autopilot to work, because one of the features is that you can summon your car from its parking spot to you.
Steve Miller from the Daily Miller was retweeted by Elon Musk, where he said Elon Musk has confirmed. Oh no, that's a different tweet. Never mind.
Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it. I thought I had it. I had it this morning, and he tweets a lot apparently. No. What? He's tweeting so much about Great Britain right now.
Yeah. He's trying to interfere in their elections next.
Yeah, I'm still not seeing it. All right. Holy crap. All right, I'm about to give up on this because I can't find this anywhere.
PJ Corrigan says he's been calling her ramen noodle head for 8 years in one day. So sorry, Brian.
I'm on the record first. I don't know. I'm sure somebody's called her that before. Maybe I don't even remember if I came up with that on my own or if I heard somebody else say it first. I don't remember. I think I said it one time at an event that she was speaking at for a veteran group, and I said that, and somebody laughed, and I was like, okay, I'm going to run with that. Did you find it?
I found the thing that I was referring to.
Okay, because I'm all the way back. The battery pack never even caught fire, and the tires are still inflated. Once we get this Cybertruck back to Tesla, we'll buff out the scratches and get it back on the road.
So John says on this post of Shipwrecks, the real reason somebody would use a Tesla for a terrorist attack is because you could kill your patsy first and the car would drive itself to the target, theoretically, of course. And then Ship says, so Elon posted that it was impossible for Tesla because Tesla had to detect an actual alive person to function on autopilot. Let me find it. And then Elon here says autopilot will not function unless it detects an attentive person in the driver's seat. And then John says, interesting, but what about this? And it's Smart Summon enables your car to come to you from anywhere in the parking lot. You can also send it to a location of your choosing.
Okay, so if you can send it to a location of your choosing, that's interesting, because the summon could, like, it won't go over 10 miles an hour, all sorts of stipulations. But if you can summon it to a location of your choosing, that'd be interesting.
Yeah, I've seen those videos about being able to summon your Tesla from its parking spot for over a year. That's not new information. It's just new that that's now being denied as a feature of the car. Or an app that runs on the operating system of the car or whatever.
Let's see what Perplexity says about how far can a driverless Tesla be summoned. Tesla's actually smart summon feature allows owners to summon their vehicle from a significant distance, but there are some limitations. The maximum operating range for actually smart summon is 100 meters. So yeah, that's not likely.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it doesn't seem like that's likely. But there was a report that came out that like there's 45 minutes where the Tesla was out of sight. I think on Sands Boulevard or Sands Drive or some
Within
road
100 meters.
maybe called Sands something. I don't know how far it is from Trump. But yeah, there was like a report that it was 45 minutes where it was out of, and all of the Tesla Cybertrucks look the same unless you wrap them. They're all that ugly metallic chrome-ish color.
I think the Cybertruck is super ugly.
I love the Cybertruck.
I think it looks like a SUV version of the DeLorean from Back to the Future.
No, it'd be the reverse of a DeLorean. Because like this Cybertruck's like long sloping in the back. The DeLorean's long sloping left to right. The Cybertruck's right to left. You know,
it's way too much detail for you. Like, no, it looks like an SUV version of Michael J. Fox's and Doc's DeLorean, and that was an ugly car. So
do you remember like back in the early 90s when they had that solar powered car that looked like a Beetle? It was like blue and white, and it had like all the panels on the back end of it, and it looked like, I think it's called like a Treglobite or something.
No, I definitely have not. A Treglobite?
Is that what it's called? A Treglobite?
I've never heard that. I've never heard that word before.
Troglodyte. A troglodyte is a member.
Troglodyte?
No,
heard that word before.
It's a troglodyte. Excuse me. A troglodyte is a member of a fabulous or prehistoric race of people that lived in caves and dens. So that's not what I was talking about. But it is actually a word.
One of my dad's favorite insults is to call people troglodytes. So, and is that the name of the car?
I'm going to show you the car, and you'll be like, "Oh, I remember that car." And I also remember seeing that car in the 90s, and it was like a science experiment. There it is, right there.
You gotta share it on the screen.
Hold on, I am.
Just like to remind everybody while we're watching the gathering of the House, we're paying all of those people in that room, all the elected officials, all their staffers. That's our money. Our money at work.
That's
wow.
That's what the Tesla Cybertruck reminds me of.
The Tesla Cybertruck looks nothing like that.
It looks.
I get the slope. The slope is what you're talking about. The backward slope.
Yeah, the angles. Yeah, like from the cockpit sloping back. The DeLorean's the opposite. It starts up here.
Cool. That thing looks like it could take off and its wheels would tuck up under it and it would fly.
Yeah, that thing's from like the 90s, man. What are the fossils that look like, you know what horseshoe crabs are? Of course you know what horseshoe crabs. Yeah. What are the fossils that look like horseshoe crabs but really small and prehistoric, obviously, because they're fossils?
I don't know.
All right. Well,
I don't know, but horseshoe crabs are terrifying looking.
Brian is not stoned at all. Come on. I'm just talking about trilobite. There we go.
Trilobite.
Coal under pressure.
Oh, coal under pressure. Having your back.
Yes, it's a trilobite.
Oh, polymathanon, HL421, beer and gear. Lots of people got that. We just weren't paying attention.
Oh. Well, can I just point out how close I was for somebody that hasn't seen or mentioned that word in probably 25 years, maybe even 35 years since like grade school science, a trilobite. And I was pretty close with troglodyte. Troglodyte. I was pretty close. You got to give me some credit for being at least close for a term that I haven't said in almost 4 decades.
Jojo Guns gifting some subscriptions in the chat. Thanks so much, dude.
Woohoo!
I appreciate you.
Then we can get rid of the ads that everybody complains about. Nothing we can do. Cam Cooksey says, "You're missing out, Brian. Being stoned and watching you is pretty epic right now."
Concerned Citizen 502 with a Rumble Rant, thank you so much, is making an alternate prediction. It's not going to be Mike. I smell a twist.
Ooh. I don't think so. It's going to be Mike. First vote.
I think so too. I'm with
Massey's
you,
the only
but
holdout.
we'll see.
I mean, it'd be epic. It would be epic.
We'll see, Concerned Citizen. We've got that banked.
Did you hear my my prediction on Daily this morning at the end?
I don't know.
About
What
the
was it?
inauguration. So I was thinking,
yeah, that you said. I think you said it could be at Mar-a-Lago, could be Bedminster.
Minster. I didn't think
Yeah.
about that. The New Jersey drones
Yeah, that's a good point.
flying over the whole time, and apparently the government doesn't know what they are. Maybe that's true. Maybe
I
they're-
loved what you said about how Trump being like, "Listen, I told Joe to tell you guys what they were, but he kept it secret." I love that theory. That's good.
Or maybe he really didn't know, and Trump's going to be like, how did I fly these drones for a month doing sniffer operations? And Joe Biden and the federal government had no idea. They're completely and totally incompetent. And I secured this on my own. But if he does do that, it would be a last minute decision. Like everything would go on as planned in DC. The National Guard would show up. The fences would show up. The only difference is Chief Justice Roberts would go to Bedminster to issue the oath, and that would be it. It would be televised, maybe a handful of people present, but it'll be interesting. Chip Roy, he's one of the guys that said that he's going to try and hold out, so shining in on him as he's in deep thought and recollection.
Yeah, I think he's lost the rights to that goatee, and he needs to shave it off.
Yeah, you said that yesterday. I'm not going to go that
stand
far.
by it. Have you seen the picture of him without it?
Yeah, he looks like a tool.
It's more appropriate, Chip Roy.
I'm afraid if I ever shaved my beard, I'd look like a tool. Like everybody would be like, wow. But it would take like a week for everybody to get used to what I look like without a beard. And then to be like, okay, that's Brian.
Are you seriously considering shaving your beard?
Hell no.
Okay.
Not a chance in hell. My face will never be. I'm like Mandalorian. I'm like Din Djarin from the Mandalorian. I can never remove my helmet. I can never shave my beard. All right, I think we might be going here.
Let's go.
433 representatives-elect have recorded their presence.
Oh,
A
430.
quorum is present.
I'm looking at the
Credentials, regular and form, have been received showing the election of the Honorable Pablo Jose Hernandez Rivera as resident commissioner from the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico for a term of 4 years beginning January 3rd, 2025. The Honorable Eleanor Holmes Norton as delegate from the District of Columbia. The Honorable James C. Moylan as delegate from Guam. The Honorable Stacey E. Plaskett as delegate from the Virgin Islands. The Honorable
Epstein.
Amada Coleman Radawagan as delegate from American Samoa. And the Honorable Kimberlyn King Hines as delegate from the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands. The clerk is in receipt of a letter from the Honorable Matt Gaetz of the state of Florida, indicating that he will not serve in the House in the 119th Congress. Without objection, the letters relating to his resignation will be printed in the record.
Oh, I wonder what they say. Hope he's like, you're all illegitimate. I'm not playing.
Pursuant to law and precedent, the next order of business is the election of the Speaker of the House of Representatives for the 119th Congress. Nominations are now in order. The clerk recognizes the gentlewoman from Michigan, Mrs. McLean.
Here we go.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk, and thank you, colleagues. Mr. Clerk, as the chair of the Republican Conference, I am directed by the vote of that conference to present for election to the office of the Speaker of the House of Representatives for the 119th Congress the name of the Honorable Mike Johnson, a representative from the state of Louisiana.
Yeah, don't stand up, dude.
Oh,
Don't stand
thanks. Thanks. I had no idea that was coming.
I'm
Thanks,
backing you, but only because Trump is. Other than that, you're a dog-faced pony soldier.
Welcome, everybody. I am optimistic about our future.
Oh,
On November 5th,
you're from
the
Michigan.
American people gave us a great opportunity to get America back on the right track. They
And we
gave us
passed
an
the continuing
opportunity
resolution.
to get back to normal and
And
to get
suspended
back
the
to
rules.
real issues that the country faces right now.
Bloated
People want
omnibus
the
bills.
opportunity to take care of their families. They simply want to provide for their children and give them a prosperous future. And ladies and gentlemen, we have the opportunity today to do just that. We
Are we
have an
dissolving the
opportunity
Congress?
to take our country back. With Speaker Mike Johnson, Senate Majority Leader John Thune, and President Donald J. Trump in charge,
Hey. Harumph. I didn't get a harumph out of that guy.
we have the opportunity to put America first again.
It's so sick that they're just going to continue passing continuing resolutions like they have since 1998.
Yep.
But this time we're really going
have
to change,
an
guys.
Opportunity to do something about crime. We have an opportunity to do something about the border. And we have an opportunity to take care of our veterans.
We haven't done it yet,
We,
but we're going to do it
and
this time, we
every single
promise.
member in this chamber, and those of you watching at home and on TV, should be looking forward, knowing that America will be respected again. Our country is the last bastion of hope. If we fail, then who? This is why we are focused
Literally
on the
anyone
issues
else.
that the majority of Americans care about: God, family, country, faith, freedom, and traditional American values.
This is the oldest Congress in history. You got to stop with the standing up. Their knees are
And
going to
we
give out.
should be making it easier for people to achieve the American dream. Over 14 months ago, Mike Johnson took on a daunting task. No speaker is perfect, and no one will ever be. However, achieving perfection requires incremental gains and hard decisions along the way. None of us will get exactly what we want. The fundamental collective goal of this body is to make progress for the American people in which we represent. And we have done just that under Mike's leadership. We should be celebrating and building upon his efforts, our efforts. Mike has remained the same kind and caring person as he was before he assumed this role. He's an honest broker. He shows you his true beliefs at face value. He is steadfast in his values of faith, family, and love of this country. He knows our brightest days are still ahead of us, and I do too. I am hopeful for the next Congress. I am optimistic that we will focus on those issues that people truly care about. I know Mike will be an integral part of this country's comeback. He will lead us through another successful Republican majority. As chairwoman of the Unified House Republican Conference, I can say proudly that we are ready to govern.
We're 30.
Decided the erection.
It is my honor to present our conference's nominee for the Speaker of the People's House, the Honorable Mike Johnson from the state of Louisiana.
The clerk now recognizes the gentleman from
Ugh,
California,
this is the
Mr. Aguilar.
worst.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk.
Ding, 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 ding. Boom. Pshing, boom.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Thank you, Mr. Clerk. I've had a little bit of practice, and clearly my colleagues took notice. I rise to place a name in nomination, but first, I want to acknowledge my colleague from Michigan for her heartfelt and personal nominating speech. As someone who's given a few of these, I can say you served your conference well, Representative McLean.
Yeah.
But Mr. Clerk, today I rise on behalf of the governing majority of the House of Representatives. The American people have sent a strong message that they want their elected leaders working together to tackle the affordability crisis. There is only one leader in
that's
this
not the
chamber
message we sent.
with a track record of compromise, conviction, and compassion.
The
There is
American
only one
people send
leader
the message that we want you
who
to fuck all the
understands
way
the
off,
needs of the
Democrats.
working people and has lived the American dream himself and is committed to ensuring its promise for future generations. There is only one leader who knows how to negotiate a bipartisan deal and then stick to that deal. House Democrats are united behind
Please
the
don't
most
let there be
powerful
more than one
legislative
round
leader in
because
this
I
chamber,
can't listen to
Hakeem
this all
Jeffries
day.
of Brooklyn.
Catherine Clark's looking at him like she wants to eat him.
I really like her hair.
House Democrats,
She does have good
under
hair.
the leadership of Hakeem Jeffries,
She's
are
really
committed to
elevated her
bipartisanship
image
and
over the
common-sense
past few years.
solutions to America's most pressing challenges. In the face of chaos and dysfunction over the last 2 years, our caucus has kept the government funded, kept our allies protected, and the economy secured from the catastrophic default. In the 119th Congress, we will work with the incoming administration to make life better, safer, and more affordable for working families. And the incoming administration must also recognize that while my colleagues on the other side of the aisle are divided, and while compromise remains a dirty word for so many, Congress won't be able to keep the lights on, let alone pass anything of substance, without the buy-in and blessing of House Democrats and Hakeem Jeffries.
You're out of power.
Make no mistake, Democrats want to bring down the cost of living, build more housing, and lower the cost of everyday items like food, medicine, and childcare. Even as the extreme rhetoric rises in this chamber and in the public square, we will not stop advocating for the policies that do the most good for the most people. Because of Hakeem's leadership, we will never abandon our values or sacrifice our bedrock principles of freedom and democracy. When America's enemies abroad threatened our democratic ally, Ukraine, when terrorists attacked our strongest ally, Israel, it was Hakeem Jeffries and House Democrats who delivered the votes and stood tall for America's national security.
You did what the military-industrial complex told you to. And also, he's telling you, ignore the past 4 years. We actually want to make your lives
When the
affordable.
least, the lost, and the left behind were threatened with devastating cuts, Hakeem Jeffries stood with America's mothers, children, and veterans. When the incoming administration wanted to raise the debt limit by trillions of dollars in order to finance tax cuts for the wealthy, the well-off, and the well-connected, leaving middle-class families to pay for the bill and leaving them high and dry, Hakeem Jeffries didn't just say no, he said That's why there is only one true candidate today for Speaker. So, Mr. Clerk, I am honored to rise today at the direction of the House Democratic Caucus to place into nomination for election to the position of Speaker of the House of Representatives, the pride of Brooklyn, the gentleman from New York, Hakeem Jeffries.
The pride of Brooklyn. Nice.
So is there no alternate nomination on the Republican side?
They'll make one now, I think.
Wait,
But
what?
I
You
doubt
got?
it. I don't.
I think they would have had to do that before, right? They would have to do that when it was the Republicans' turn.
The sad thing is they got like a memo, like, be excited. All of this is scripted.
The names
All
of
of
the
this.
Honorable Mike Johnson, a representative-elect from the state of Louisiana, and the Honorable Hakeem Jeffries, a representative-elect from the state of New York, have been placed in nomination. Are there further nominations?
Oh, okay.
There being no further nominations, the
All
clerk
right,
appoints
first
the
round.
following tellers. The gentlewoman from North Carolina, Ms. Fox. The gentleman from New York, Mr. Morelli. The gentleman from Wisconsin, Mr. Stile. And the gentlewoman from California, Mrs. Torres. The tellers will come forward and take their seats at the desk in front of the speaker's rostrum.
Oh. In one final act.
Right? Need your AARP card?
What? Yeah. I'm just, about at least once a day, I think about Kash Patel talking about the 24/7 declassification machine. And that watching these people, watching Pete Aguilar, get up there and just gaslight the American people about what Democrats would do if they were in power, when we just lived through Democrats being in power and they broke everything. They broke the world.
Yes.
And getting up there, I want the declassification machine, and I want it to show what these people's incentive structures is. All of them. I don't give a shit about which party they're from. All of them. I want to know where has their money been coming from, which lobby, which causes are, they using to launder money right back into their own pockets. Because that's how it works. And I think we all know now that that's how it works. We've got to have that extreme D-class.
Let's do the votes. Let's get it over with. Without any secondary nominees, I'm going to guess that it's a go in the first round.
Yeah, I think first round too. Straight party line.
Come on. It's not that difficult.
And of course, I think our audience certainly knows this, but the reason that they are representatives elect is because they cannot swear in the new members until they have a speaker. The very first order of business after saying the Pledge of Allegiance is to elect a speaker. They can't do anything until they do that.
Let me pull this up. I made this little clip from the CNN clip where they have their people to watch. So again, we're looking at it says Briggs, but it's supposed to be Biggs. Burchett, Burleson, Cloud, Clyde, Crane, Harris, Norman, Ogles, Perry, Roy, Sparts, and Stubble. I'm surprised they didn't put Massey up there, although I guess they know that he's a no, so he's not up there. Roy and Sparts have been the most outspoken against it, so we'll see.
Yeah, I like a lion's share. Do dead representatives get to vote? Only in the general election. Well, in the primaries, but not in this form, I don't believe.
Unless you're Kay Granger or whatever her name was. What was her name? Granger something.
Oh, what you're talking about, the one that was found in the nursing home. Yeah. Well, she's not dead yet. Not dead yet.
Kay Granger, yeah.
I feel happy. I think I'll go for a walk.
Just in a mental or nursing home for 6 months and nobody missed her. All right, here we go.
I think the funniest thing is that they pretended that they didn't know where she was.
And those responding to their names will indicate by surname the nominee of their choosing. The reading clerk will now call the roll.
Adams. Jeffries. Adderholt. Johnson. Aguilar. Jeffries. Alford. Johnson. Allen. Johnson. Amo. Jeffries. Amode of Nevada. Johnson. Ansari. Jeffries. Arrington. Johnson. Auchincloss. Jeffries. Babin. Johnson. Bacon. Johnson. Baird. Johnson. Balderson. Johnson. Ballant. Jeffries. Barr. Johnson. Bedagan. Jeffries. Barrett. Barrett. Baumgartner. Barrett Johnson. Barrett Johnson. Baumgartner. Johnson. Bean of Florida. Johnson. Beatty. Jeffries. Begich. Johnson. Bell. Jeffries. Betts. Johnson. Barra. Jeffries. Bergman. Johnson. Beyer. Jeffries. Bice. Johnson. Biggs of Arizona. Biggs of Arizona. Biggs of South Carolina. Johnson.
So Biggs, no votes.
Philarakis. Johnson. Bishop. Jeffries. Bogert. Johnson. Bonamici. Jeffries. Bost. Johnson. Boyle of Pennsylvania. Jeffries. Rakeen. Johnson. Bresnahan. Johnson. Brown. Jeffries. Brownlee. Jeffries. Buchanan. Johnson. Budzinski. Jeffries. Burgett. Johnson. Burleson. Johnson. Bynum. Jeffries. Calvert. Johnson. Kamick. Johnson. Carbajal. Jeffries. Carey. Johnson. Carson. Carson. Carter of Georgia. Mike Johnson. Carter of Louisiana. Jeffries. Carter of Texas. Johnson. Kassar. Jeffries. Case. Jeffries. Caston. Jeffries. Castor of Florida. Jeffries. Castro of Texas. Jeffries. Shifferless McCormick. Jeffries. Chu. Jeffries. Ciscomani.
Mike Johnson.
Johnson. Cisneros. Jeffries. Clark of Massachusetts. Jeffries. Clark of New York. Jeffries. Cleaver. Jeffries. Klein. Johnson. Cloud. Cloud. Clyburn. Jeffries. Clyde. Clyde. Cohen. Jeffries. Cole. Johnson. Collins. Johnson. Comer. Johnson. Conaway. Jeffries. Connolly. Jeffries. Correa. Jeffries. Costa.
Gentleman from Brooklyn, Hakeem Jeffries.
Jeffries. Courtney. Jeffries. Craig. Jeffries. Crane. Johnson. Crink. Johnson. Crawford. Johnson. Crenshaw. Johnson. Crockett. Jeffries. Crow. Jeffries. Quare. Jeffries. Davids of Kansas. Jeffries. Davidson. Johnson. Davis of Illinois. Jeffries. Davis of North Carolina. Jeffries. Dean of Pennsylvania. Jeffries. DeGette. Jeffries. De La Cruz.
Mike Johnson.
Johnson. DeLauro. Jeffries. Delvede. Jeffries. Deluzio. Jeffries. Desagne. Jeffries. Desjardins. Johnson. Dexter. Jeffries. Diaz-Balart. Johnson. Dingle. Jeffries. Davitt. Jeffries. Donalds. Johnson. Downing.
Mike Johnson.
Johnson. Dunn of Florida. Johnson. Edwards.
Mike Johnson.
Johnson. Alfred. Jeffries. Elsie. Johnson. Ever. Johnson. Escobar. Jeffries. Espaillat.
Hakeem Jeffries.
Jeffries. Estes.
Mike Johnson.
Johnson. Evans of Colorado. Johnson. Evans of Pennsylvania. Jeffries. Ezel. Johnson. Fallon.
Fourth District of Texas votes strongly for Mike Johnson.
Johnson. Fedorchak. Johnson. Feenstra. Johnson. Fields. Jeffries. Figures. Jeffries. Finstad. Johnson. Fishbach. Johnson. Fitzgerald. Johnson. Fitzpatrick. Johnson. Flashman. Johnson. Fletcher. Jeffries. Flood. Johnson. Fung. Johnson. Foster. Jeffries. Fushi. Jeffries. Fox. Johnson. Lois Frankel. Jeffries. Scott Franklin. Johnson. Friedman. Jeffries. Frost. Jeffries. Fry. Johnson. Fulcher. Johnson. Garamendi. Jeffries. Garbarino. Johnson. Garcia of California. Jeffries. Garcia of Illinois. Jeffries. Garcia of Texas. Jeffries. Gill of Texas. Johnson. Gillen. Jeffries. Jimenez. Johnson. Golden of Maine. Jeffries. Goldman of New York. Jeffries. Goldman of Texas. Johnson. Gomez. Jeffries. Tony Gonzalez. Johnson. Vicente Gonzalez. Jeffries. Gooden. Johnson. Goodlander. Jeffries. Gosar. Gottheimer. Jeffries. Graves. Johnson. Gray. Jeffries. Green of Tennessee. Johnson. Green of Texas.
Still not rise for the preferred candidate of liberty and justice for all, the hope and free of this place. Order.
The gentleman may respond by survey.
Green of Texas. Jeffries. Green of Georgia. Johnson. Griffith. Johnson. Grijalva. Jeffries. Grothman. Johnson. Guest.
Johnson.
Johnson. Guthrie.
Johnson.
Johnson. Hageman.
Mike Johnson.
Johnson. Hamadeh of Arizona. Johnson. Carter, California. Jeffries. Herodopolis.
Johnson.
Johnson. Harrigan.
Johnson.
Johnson. Harris of Maryland. Harris of Maryland. Harris of North Carolina. Johnson. Harshbarger. Johnson. Hayes. Jeffries. Hearn of Oklahoma. Johnson. Higgins of Louisiana. Johnson. Hill of Arkansas. Johnson. Himes. Jeffries. Henson.
Mike Johnson.
Johnson. Forsberg. Jeffries. Houchin. Johnson. Houlihan. Jeffries. Poyer. Jeffries. Coyle of Oregon. Jeffries. Hudson. Johnson. Huffman. Jeffries. Huizinga. Johnson. Hunt. Johnson. Hurd of Colorado. Johnson. Issa.
Speaker of the House. Speaker Mike Johnson.
Johnson. Ivy. Jeffries. Jack.
Mike Johnson.
Johnson. Jackson of Illinois.
The Honorable Hakeem Jeffries.
Jeffries. Jackson of Texas.
Mike Johnson.
Johnson. Jacobs. Jeffries. James.
Mike Johnson.
Johnson. Jayapal. Jeffries. Jeffries.
Jeffries.
Jeffries. Johnson of Georgia. Jeffries. Johnson of Louisiana. Johnson. Johnson of South Dakota. Johnson. Johnson of Texas. Jeffries. Jordan. Johnson. Joyce of Ohio. Johnson. Joyce of Pennsylvania.
Mike Johnson.
Johnson. Kim Lagerdove. Jeffries. Captor. Jeffries. Kane. Johnson. Keating. Jeffries. Kelly of Illinois. Jeffries. Kelly of Mississippi. Johnson. Kelly of Pennsylvania. Johnson. Kennedy of New York. Jeffries. Kennedy of Utah. Johnson. Cannon. Jeffries. Kiggins of Virginia. Johnson. Kylie of California. Johnson. Kim. Johnson. Not.
Mike Johnson.
Johnson. Krishnamurthy.
Jeffries.
Jeffries. Kustoff.
Johnson.
Johnson. LaHood. Johnson. Lanota.
Mike Johnson.
Johnson. LaMalfa.
Born on Friday. Mike Johnson.
Johnson. Lanceman.
Hakeem Jeffries.
Jeffries. Langworthy.
Johnson.
Johnson. Larson of Washington.
Jeffries.
Jeffries. Larson of Connecticut.
Jeffries.
Jeffries. Latimer.
Jeffries.
Jeffries. Latta.
Johnson.
Johnson. Lawler.
The Honorable Mike Johnson.
Johnson. Lee of Florida. Johnson. Lee of Nevada. Jeffries. Lee of Pennsylvania. Jeffries. Ledger Fernandez. Hakeem Jeffries. Jeffries. Letlow. Johnson. Levin.
Hakeem Jeffries.
Jeffries. Ricardo.
Hakeem Jeffries.
Jeffries. Lou.
Hakeem Jeffries.
Jeffries. Lofgren. Jeffries. Loudermilk.
Johnson.
Johnson. Lucas.
Johnson.
Johnson. Luna.
Madam Mike Johnson.
Johnson. Latrell.
Johnson.
Johnson. Lynch.
Jeffries.
Jeffries. Mace.
Johnson.
Johnson. McKenzie.
Mike Johnson.
Johnson. Magaziner.
Hakeem Jeffries.
Jeffries. Maliotakis. Johnson. Malloy. Johnson. Mann.
Mike Johnson.
Johnson. Mannion.
Hakeem Jeffries.
Jeffries. Massey.
Tom Emmer.
Emmer. Mast.
Mike Johnson.
Johnson. Matsui. Jeffries. McBath. Jeffries. McBride. Jeffries. McCall.
Johnson.
Johnson. McLean.
Mike Johnson.
Johnson. McLean Delaney. Jeffries. McClellan.
Hakeem Jeffries.
Jeffries. McClintock.
Johnson.
Johnson. McCullum.
Jeffries.
Jeffries. McCormick.
Johnson.
Johnson. McDonald Ribbit. Jeffries. McDowell.
Mike Johnson.
Johnson. McGarvey.
Hakeem Jeffries.
Jeffries. McGovern.
Jeffries.
Jeffries. McGuire.
President Trump won in the electoral vote. I'm proud to vote Mike Johnson.
Johnson. McIver.
Hakeem Jeffries.
Jeffries. Meeks.
Hakeem Jeffries.
Jeffries. Menendez.
Jeffries.
Jeffries. Mang.
Hakeem Jeffries.
Jeffries. Messmer.
Mike Johnson.
Johnson. Muser.
Mike Johnson.
Johnson. Mfume.
Hakeem Jeffries.
Jeffries. Miller of Illinois. Johnson. Miller of Ohio.
Mike Johnson.
Johnson. Miller of West Virginia. Johnson. Miller Meeks.
The Honorable Representative and Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson.
Johnson. Mills. Johnson. Min.
Hakeem Jeffries.
Jeffries. Molinar. Johnson. Moore of Alabama. Johnson. Moore of North Carolina.
Mike Johnson.
Johnson. Moore of Utah.
Steve Johnson.
Johnson. Moore of Wisconsin.
Hakeem Jeffries.
Jeffries. Moore of West Virginia.
Mike Johnson.
Johnson. Moran.
Mike Johnson.
Johnson. Morelli.
Jeffries.
Jeffries. Morrison. Jeffries. Moskowitz. Moskowitz. Jeffries. Moulton.
Jeffries.
Jeffries. Mervan.
Jeffries.
Jeffries. Mullen.
Jeffries.
Jeffries. Murphy.
Johnson.
Johnson. Nadler.
Hakeem Jeffries.
Jeffries. Neal.
Jeffries.
Jeffries. Nagoose.
Hakeem Jeffries.
Jeffries. Nails. Johnson. Newhouse.
Mr. Johnson.
Johnson. Norcross.
Jeffries.
Jeffries. Norman.
Jordan.
Jordan. None of Iowa.
The Honorable Mike Johnson.
Johnson. Ogonoti.
Mike Johnson.
Johnson. Ocasio-Cortez. Jeffries. Ogles.
Mike Johnson.
Johnson. Olszewski. Jeffries. Omar. Jeffries. Onder.
Mike Johnson.
Johnson. Owens. Johnson. Pallone.
Hakeem Jeffries.
Jeffries. Palmer. Palmer. Johnson. Panetta.
Hakeem Jeffries.
Jeffries. Pappas. Jeffries. Pelosi.
The Honorable Hakeem Jeffries.
Jeffries. Perez. Jeffries. Perry. Johnson. Peters. Jeffries. Pedersen. Jeffries. Fluger. Johnson. Pingree. Jeffries. Pocan. Jeffries. Poe. Jeffries. Presley. Presley. Jeffries. Quigley. Jeffries. Ramirez. Jeffries. Randall. Jeffries. Raskin.
Hakeem Jeffries.
Jeffries. Reschenthaler. Johnson. Riley of New York.
Binghamton University's Hakeem Jeffries.
Jeffries. Rivas. Jeffries. Rogers of Alabama.
Mike Johnson.
Johnson. Rogers of Kentucky. Johnson. Rose. Johnson. Ross. Jeffries. Rouser. Johnson. Roy. Roy. Ruiz. Jeffries. Ruley. Johnson. Rutherford. Johnson. Ryan. Jeffries. Salazar. Johnson. Salinas. Jeffries. Sanchez. Sanchez. Jeffries. Scalise. Johnson. Scanlon. Jeffries. Schakowsky. Jeffries. Schmidt. Johnson. Schneider. Jeffries. Skolton. Jeffries. Schreier. Jeffries. Schweikert. Johnson. Austin Scott. Johnson. David Scott. Jeffries. Scott of Virginia. Jeffries. Self. Donalds. Sessions. Johnson. Sewell. Jeffries. Sherman. Jeffries. Sherrill. Jeffries. Shreve. Johnson. Simon. Simon. Jeffries. Simpson. Simpson. Johnson. Smith of Missouri. Johnson. Smith of Nebraska. Johnson. Smith of New Jersey. Johnson. Smith of Washington. Jeffries. Smucker. Johnson. Sorensen. Jeffries. Soto. Jeffries. Sparts. Sparts. Johnson. Stansbury. Jeffries. Stanton. Jeffries. Stauber. Johnson. Stefanik. Johnson. Style. Johnson. Stubbe. Johnson. Stevens. Jeffries. Strickland. Jeffries. Strong. Johnson. Stutzman. Johnson. Subramaniam. Jeffries. Suazi. Jeffries.
Swalwell. Jeffries. Sykes. Jeffries. Takano. Jeffries. Taylor. Johnson. Tenney. Johnson. Tanadar. Jeffries. Thompson of California. Jeffries. Thompson of Mississippi. Jeffries. Thompson of Pennsylvania. Johnson. Tiffany. Johnson. Timmons. Johnson. Titus. Jeffries. Talib. Jeffries. Takuda. Jeffries. Tonko. Jeffries. Torres of California. Jeffries. Torres of New York. Jeffries. Trahan. Jeffries. Tran. Jeffries. Turner of Ohio. Johnson. Turner of Texas. Jeffries. Underwood. Jeffries. Valadeo. Johnson. Van Drew. Johnson. Van Dyne. Johnson. Van Orden.
Johnson.
Johnson. Vargas. Jeffries. Vasquez. Jeffries. VC. Jeffries. Velasquez. Jeffries. Vindman. Jeffries. Wagner. Johnson. Wahlberg. Johnson. Waltz. Waltz. Wasserman Schultz. Jeffries. Waters. Jeffries. Watson Coleman. Jeffries. Weber of Texas.
James Michael Johnson, Louisiana's favorite son.
Johnson. Webster of Florida. Johnson. Westerman. Johnson. Whitesides. Jeffries. Weed.
Mike Johnson.
Johnson. Williams of Georgia. Jeffries. Williams of Texas. Johnson. Wilson of Florida. Jeffries. Wilson of South Carolina. Johnson. Whitman. Johnson. Womack. Johnson. Yackham. Johnson. Zinke. Johnson.
For what purpose does the gentlelady from the Virgin Islands seek recognition?
Speaker, I have a parliamentary inquiry. I note that the names of the representatives from the Americas Samoa, Guam, Northern Mariana, Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, and the District of Columbia were not called. representing collectively 4 million Americans.
What? Is this the push for statehood for all these places?
She's making a play for delegates to have votes.
Uh-huh.
That's not how it
Speaker,
works.
collectively, the largest per capita of veterans in this country.
Does the gentlelady have a parliamentary
I asked
inquiry?
why they were not called.
Because it's not the
Because
rules.
it's not in the
Have
Constitution.
some
Yeah.
respect. It's not going to
Sit down and have some
Oh my
respect.
goodness.
You have some respect for the forum you're in.
Gentlelady's recognized.
I asked why they were not called from the parliamentarian, please.
What is your
Delegates
relationship to
elect
Jeffrey
and the
Epstein?
resident commissioner-elect are not qualified to vote.
Yeah.
Representatives-elect are the only individuals qualified to vote in the election of a speaker.
That's
As
right.
provided in section 36 of the House Rules and Manual, the speaker is elected by a majority of the members-elect voting by surname.
Is this their push for
Body and this nation
J6?
has a territories and a colonies problem.
This is
What was
hardly the
supposed to be
time. Pass a
temporary
bill,
has now
sweetie.
effectively become permanent. We must do something about this
The
problem
gentlelady is no
so
longer
that these
recognized.
4
You're
million
no longer recognized. Shut up and sit down. Also, by the way, it's the only way. Ha! Got her mic.
Oh, Mike. Hi.
Yeah. I have a voice. Cut your mic.
No, you don't.
Yeah, it's the only way Canada comes in, by the way, is if they have the same votes as that Stacey
The reading
chick.
clerk will now call the names of the representatives-elect who did
All right,
not
here we
answer the first call of the roll.
I don't think it matters, right? It has to go to another round.
Well,
The 3 others?
Biggs of Arizona. Johnson.
Oh, there he
there you
goes.
go.
Carson. Jeffries. Cloud. Johnson.
Clyde is next.
Clyde. Clyde.
What?
Uh-oh. Round 2, baby.
Gosar.
What are they doing?
Gosar. Harris of Maryland. Johnson.
Chip Roy.
Roy. Johnson.
Oh,
Wow.
next is Waltz, and that's the last one.
Waltz. Johnson.
If there are any representatives-elect who did not answer the call of the roll, they may come to the well and vote at this time.
And that applies to Gosar and Clyde.
Clyde.
Present.
Clyde.
Okay.
Gosar.
Well, we were wrong.
Gosar Johnson and Clyde Johnson. So Waltz Or did Waltz vote Johnson already? He did.
Clyde Johnson.
Need one more.
One
No,
vote short.
that's enough. If it's
Is it?
433, that's enough. They said it was 433 at the beginning, right? So that should be enough. Yeah.
$217.
Yeah, I think that's enough.
Is it? Let's see.
Yeah, because they said it was 433, I think. So a majority would be 217 would be 434. Johnson wins.
Ghost says, I love how stupid this all is. Yes. Agreed. Yeah, Spetzel says, except there are 434 votes, only 433 reps announced. He did say 433 was the number of the House at the beginning of this. Let's see why it went back to 216. See what we got here. So Massey voted for Emmer, Norman voted for Johnson, and Self voted for Byron Donalds, and everybody else voted for Johnson on the Republican side.
Well, there we go. Round 2.
It's so dumb. Whiskey Girl said Norman voted for Johnson. If I said for Jordan, if I said Johnson, I meant Jordan. Yeah. So I wonder if they'll nominate somebody else this time around, because we didn't have any alternative nominations, but we had 3 alternative candidates voted for. There's Burchett talking to Johnson. actually don't know if it's Burchett or Burchett. So they did take one away from Johnson. I was looking at the roll call, and it doesn't appear that it was maybe an overcount on the C-SPAN page, but I don't think they gave it to Jeffries.
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Uh.
well, we can look here. If you look at the live vote count from New York Times, I'm gonna go back up to the top. We have straight party line until we get to Thomas Massey, who voted for Tom Emmer. And then Ralph Norman voted for Jim Jordan. And Keith Self voted for Byron Donalds. Everything else is straight party line.
Oh boy. Here we go. Well, Mr. Speaker, I'm going to need you to promise to pass a continuing resolution or we'll vacate you. I promise. And then nothing happens.
Well, my favorite is when they decide that they are going to bake in the really strong, honorable things into the rules, and then they just suspend the rules. That was a big part of Matt Gaetz's play. With the McCarthy vote was the changes to the rules, and they got them. They got a lot of changes to the rules last year when they went through that. And yeah, they just suspend the rules when they don't want to follow them.
Sorry, I'm working on something in the background while listening to this. I guess I should put that aside because we're back on this. There's so much developing right now. There's an update on the New York Post.
Oh, well, let's do that while we're waiting for this next round. Tell us what you're finding.
Well, I'm writing it up right now for Gateway because we now have Fox News's Brooke Taylor coming out here. Let me share this tab. Fox News's Brooke Taylor is now coming out and saying that deputies just closed down the street in North Harris County where Shamsud Din Jabbar was living. A source tells me that the Harris County Sheriff's Office bomb squad is on the way to collect evidence. This comes days later when the door was left open and people were inside the home taking pictures and freely roaming around. Sources also say precursor chemicals were found inside the home when they first raided it, which are typically used for making homemade explosives. The question now becomes, why come back and collect evidence and not do this days ago? And the answer to that is because this is a totally fabricated story. There's no other explanation.
And this is the New Orleans one, right?
Correct. This is the one that the New York Times, Jennifer Tare, was walking through. Yeah. And this is Brooke Taylor, Fox News national correspondent from Dallas, reporting this. I mean, it can't get any more kayfabe. This isn't even kayfabe. This is just flat out like crap.
There wasn't even police tape in the house.
No, I mean, it was
all tidy.
Crap.
Had a nice bomb making station, Cran open to passage about martyrdom. It's just so nice and tidy and wrapped in a bow.
Yeah, she also said an FBI spokesperson tells me, quote, I can confirm FBI Houston is currently at the North Harris County location conducting law enforcement activity. No acknowledgement or answers as to why this wasn't treated as a secure crime scene all day yesterday, leaving people to roam freely with now potential evidence left behind. It's almost like enough people were calling out how incredibly fake this was that they're like, oh crap, we're in trouble. If there was actually somebody to prosecute in this, which there could be others, right? There could be co-conspirators in this. Everything is done. Like, there is no evidentiary chain of custody any longer. That was not a secure household. People were able to roam freely without oversight from law enforcement. The entire case on this New Orleans thing, if there's co-conspirators, is gone. It's done.
Yeah.
They could come out tomorrow and be like, yep, there were 5 guys that helped him make bombs, that did all this stuff. Doesn't matter. It's all done because you left a crime scene with bomb-making material still inside and electronic devices. You left it unattended.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Speaker Johnson just left the floor, by the way, left the chamber.
He's probably really pissed. Let me put the post. I saw Gordon asked if I could share the link so you guys can all not heckle, but let your opinions be heard. Let your voices be heard. So I will go ahead and post that here in the chat. And there you all go. There you all go. 10,000 people watching and understanding how crap this is. So I'm going to hit publish here in just a second on my article. And yeah, let me just add a picture real quick.
Let me go check Truth Social and see if Trump has said anything about this.
I'm sure he's had to have said something.
So we've got 2 posts within the past 30 minutes from him. So the only 2 posts that he's got since this whole thing started.
Why don't you go
throw these up? Yeah. Democrat, the first one was 27 minutes ago. Biden gave Liz Cheney a medal yesterday, even though she is proven to be totally corrupt. She, Benny Thompson, and the rest of the Unselect Committee destroyed and deleted all evidence from their crooked investigation of January 6th. Cheney has the distinction of losing her congressional seat by the largest margin in history. The people of Wyoming understood how bad for our country she was, but Biden rewarded her only because she hated Trump. She's a warmonger of low intelligence. All she wants to do is kill people in endless wars with no gain other than to defense companies. Liz Cheney, crying Adam Kinzinger, Benny Thompson, and the rest of these dishonest thugs have gotten away with horrible things under the pretense of January 6th. Nancy Pelosi refused to accept the help which was offered for security. She is responsible and admitted as much for all to see on her daughter's tape. They have destroyed the lives of many and are rewarded by getting fake Biden fake medals. Biden fake medals. This is not America. January 20th can't come fast enough. Make America great again. And then he said, just like 6 minutes later, the Democrats are all giddy about our magnificent American flag potentially being at half-mast during my inauguration. They think it's so great and are so happy about it because in actuality, they don't love our country. They only think about themselves. Look at what they've done to our once great America over the past 4 years. It's a total mess. In any event, because of the death of President Jimmy Carter, the flag may, for the first time ever during an inauguration of a future president, be at half-mast. Nobody wants to see this, and no American can be happy about it. Let's see how it plays out. Make America great again. So,
okay, so should I call this? Sorry, I'm doing double duty, ladies and
no,
gentlemen.
you're good. I'll present the thing while you can do what you're doing.
So I wrote, if there are co-conspirators in this case, the chain of custody has been utterly shattered. This is incompetence of unbelievable proportion. Should I need another word for unbelievable. What should I put? Epic?
Well, that's not the same. Let's do synonyms for unbelievable.
writing this in real time. I'm just shocked at how utterly incompetent the FBI and if this woman actually showed up, unfathomable. I like that. Unfathomable.
Astonishing, implausible, impossible, improbable, inconceivable, incredible, outlandish,
I'm going
preposterous,
unfathomable.
too much, unimaginable, unthinkable.
I'm going
Cockamamie. You could go with cockamamie. That's a good one.
cockamamie. Anything to say caucus. Oh my goodness. This is insane.
Yeah. Yeah. No, after we did the 15 rounds, I wasn't sure I'd want to do this again. Now I'm certain of it. I don't want to do this again. MK Marketing Dynamo, I think is what that means, with the Rumble Rant. Thank you so much. Unconscionable, Brian.
Unconscionable. That's not bad.
So going back to the earlier Rumble Rant, Concerned Citizen 502 was correct. It's not going to be Mike. I smell a twist. We got a twist. Still might be Mike, but we got a twist for sure. So I thought for sure it was going to be a straight, clean vote. Lee Walden with the Rumble Rant. Thank you so much. All stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. God bless America. And Lori Lucille 9. The high and mighty theatrics make me want to puke on them. I think we all feel a little bit of that. Doc from Amish PA, thank you so much for your support. Mike Johnson equals Brick Tamlin. He is rarely late and extremely polite. Dirk McGurkin, the answer, they forgot to leave all the evidence. I don't know what
They had to go
back
and they had to go back and put the evidence there.
Oh, in the bomb thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Branty Mom with a $20 Rumble Rant. Thank you so much for your support. Thanks for the coverage, Brian and Ash. It's our pleasure.
You are welcome.
We're massive nerds that actually like this.
I know. Me and Ash are going to marathon today out too.
Yeah.
We'll be here till 7.
Ooh. And then tattoo teacher flagrant. It's another word you could have used.
I was excited. I could have gotten 9 holes of golf in before I had to be home to prep for tonight because I'm not going to have a weekend. I got to go to Mar-a-Lago tomorrow at noon.
Oh, I got to go to Mar-a-Lago tomorrow at noon.
Okay. It is. I mean, it's for work. I'm going as press, so it is for work. But
sure.
Yeah. Look at Massey, man, rocking the beard. My dad's growing a beard. It's really weird. It's really weird because he's given me crap for so long about a beard, and now he's growing one, and it kind of looks like Massey's.
Yeah, he looks rough.
Yeah, he does.
He looks like someone threatened to pull his fingernails out or cut his fingers off.
Geez, folks, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Yes, and I am going to brag. I am Bragg City. This will be my second time being invited there.
I was never invited to Mar-a-Lago for like a party or a gala or anything. I was invited there for a meeting about election fraud, which was still very cool. Mar-a-Lago is amazing.
Yeah,
and then I was invited to an event at Bedminster, which was a screening of Selection Code back in 2022. And that was awesome. Bedminster is very cool. We have a couple more Rumble Rants came in. Nuke Hayes. Chip Roy's mother was a hamster and father smelled of elderberry. Wait, your mother was a hamster and your father smelled of elderberry? And MAGA farts in his, and I fought in your general direction. It's a Monty Python and the Holy Grail reference. Nuke Hayes, thanks so much for the support. Heidi Belanger, are we about to find out the secret Trump was talking about? That is an excellent question. You remember that rally? We have a secret, don't we? We have a little secret. You'll find out after we win, is what he said. I agree. We should find out. Call sign Cujo. All evidence now compromised and rendered inadmissible. No chain of custody. It's going back to the New Orleans raid, I believe, and agreed. I mean, you let random people just march through a crime scene. So that's that. S. Jones 39. Add this to circus. Our current VP idiot doesn't know the pledge. Well, yeah. That's all the Rumble Rants we have for now. Thank you guys so much for your support. This stream from Badlands is being presented without any ads, without anything except for your support and Brian and my nerd-isms, because you couldn't keep us away from this. So thank you guys for your support. We appreciate you. Who do you think she's calling?
She is on the phone with DJT right now saying, Marjorie, listen, you got to get Massey on board. There's nothing I can do, sir. Massey is his own independent person. He's not coming on board.
Listen, Marge, just get him on board. I won't let anybody pull out his fingernails.
We won't
Let
chop
him
off
off the
any
hook.
fingers.
Yeah.
We might pull fingernails, but we won't chop off fingers.
Just a little bamboo, but we won't pull him all the way out.
Is she calling Brian Glenn? Are they still dating? Are they still a thing?
I don't know. As Marjorie Taylor Greene's love life is not something I follow.
Yeah, me neither. I just knew that they were dating because I had an opportunity to sit down with Brian Glenn once upon a time.
Oh,
And
that's cool.
yeah, well, it was at the first symposium. He had actually talked to me about getting a spot on RSBN, but that never came to fruition. Doing an election show over there. This was like 3 years
That's cool.
back in 2021. Yeah. I wouldn't have been ready for it. So I'm glad it didn't come to fruition. I'm much happier here at Badlands with all of you guys. Yeah. Much cooler community here. No offense to anybody that likes RSBN. I love RSBN. But
I've met a bunch of the on-air talent at RSBM, and they're cool people, real normal people.
Very, very. Yeah, I sat in the airport with Brian Glenn for like an hour waiting for our flights, just chit-chatting and talking. It was pretty cool. That's also where I met you and Chris Paul. First time I met you two.
Cyber Symposium. Yeah, very first podcast I ever did. I was a blogger and I did a lot of writing and a lot of IRL organizing, but never did a podcast until I came on your podcast to talk about the article I wrote, The Interstate Conspiracy to Defraud the American Public. And it was talking about the similarities between the Arizona Senate audit and the findings of the Arizona Senate audit and the findings of the Mesa County analysis by cyber experts of the images that Tina Peters took.
And it was an excellent show.
It was a lot of fun.
Yep. And now here we are, co-workers,
I know,
co-hosts. Yeah.
And I like to think friends.
We're very good friends. We were talking about this the other day. I think it's hilarious when people like try and like pit us against each other. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
Flew out to Denver to sit in a hotel room and then sit in a courtroom for 8 hours a day. We did have a good time afterwards, though, going out to dinner with everybody and
that was fun.
Having a few drinks. It was a good time.
Dodging meth heads on 16th Street Mall.
Yeah. freaking out about plane delays and hacking and cybersecurity infrastructure shutdowns. And oh man, it was a good time though.
Well, yeah. And I appreciated you. I mean, just for, aside from, you're my friend and it was incredible to have you there to support, but you're media and you were the only media that was in that courtroom that wasn't just sitting there trying to figure out how to spin this for the NAACP.
Yep.
And it was a real blessing to have you there. I'm super grateful you were there.
Absolutely. Just like Jeremy Brown's trial. There was one other journalist in there, a local Tampa press outlet. And we were the only two in there. And I think it, again, was another massive case, just like yours, where in this case, the U.S. Attorney's Office apparently the FBI planted evidence against Jeremy Brown. Yeah. And they all but admitted that and then turned around in their closing statements and doubled down on the planted evidence. It was shocking to me.
What blew my mind about that, and all I know about the Jeremy Brown trial is your reporting But what blew my mind was that they caught them planting some evidence, and that didn't throw out the believability of all of the evidence that they presented.
Correct.
It certainly should.
It's shocking to me. So the CD was planted with classified documents, quote unquote classified documents. That was planted, but there's no way that the FBI and the Joint Terrorism Task Force could have planted 2 hand grenades after they closed the scene down and cleared everybody out, turned off all 14 of his closed circuit television security cameras, and then went in there with no oversight. And all of a sudden they come away with 2 grenades that have human DNA, fingerprints, and animal or textiles, foreign textiles on them. Not one shred of that matched anything having to do with Jeremy Brown, his house, his dogs, his family, none of it. But somehow they couldn't possibly believe that the FBI would plant 2 grenades in his flak jacket that, oh, by the way, the last known place that they were checked in was a black ops site in Kentucky.
Yeah.
It's insane. It's absolutely
bullshit.
insane to me. It's
It's
utterly
bullshit, and he's in prison, if I'm not
He
mistaken.
is. He's on
Yeah.
appeal. He's on
On
appeal.
bullshit. He's in
Yep.
prison because of bullshit.
And he's making a very good appeal because so he did have an SBR, a short-barreled rifle, which is technically against the ATF's
Shall not
NFA.
be infringed.
I agree. And then with the Bruin case, he makes a good argument about the blunderbuss, which is a short-barreled rifle from the American Revolution era, and it was a short-barreled rifle. They attribute it to the shotgun, but it wasn't a shotgun. I mean, it fired a solid projectile. So I guess you could consider it like a slug, maybe. But he makes a good argument with that. And there's no reason whatsoever to make an SBR a National Firearms Act rifle, like weapon. There's nothing better about an SBR. Nothing. In fact, it's less accurate than a full-sized AR-15. But so he makes that argument. So maybe he'll get off. I'm praying for him because, I think he's a good guy, and I think he has the right I think he had the right intentions and everything. He refused to be a government.
Well, that's why he's being punished.
Yes.
That's because he
And he
refused
went public with it.
Yeah. He
Yeah.
refused to work with them. He refused to go undercover for them. And so they turned around and punished him for it.
Yep.
Which is organized crime shit. That's not
Yep.
justice. That's not the justice system. That's not a proper investigative tactic. It's mob shit. We have a couple more. Oh, go ahead.
Well, and given what you've seen lately with a lot of the Green Berets and what Colonel Towner was talking about with Operation Gladio and Fort Bragg and Green Berets, it's interesting that Jeremy Brown, it's not interesting, it's commendable that he decided not to become a confidential human source for the Department of Homeland Security and FBI. All right, go ahead.
It is beyond commendable. Yeah.
Yes.
And the fact that he's, sitting in prison as a result of it is, I really hope he wins this appeal. M. Shieldbraun, thank you for your great coverage of this, Brian and Ash. Much appreciated. Well, you're very welcome. And thank you for your support. We appreciate you. And Rave Daddy 523, Tim Burchett's name is pronounced Burchett. He lives in my town and I have met him many times throughout the years. He is my hometown hero. That's awesome. He does seem like a pretty authentic dude. He's been, Burchett has been doing, I don't know why I'm being retarded right now, like TikTok style videos, just the shorts, vertical portrait shorts. And he comes off to me as very authentic. Yeah. So thank you for correcting my pronunciation, Rave Daddy. And we'll get it right from now on.
All right. So how long are we going to wait before we get this vote?
That is a good question. Let's check their Twitter. The Twitter isn't updating. It says that they're still voting. So that's not. Oh, wait. Roll call 2. Election of the speaker.
Oh, look at the selfie there, man.
Yeah, no, it's still the same.
What's her name? What's is it? Plaskett, Stacey Plaskett from the.
She's the one that got up and yelled about delegates not having votes.
Goodness. And the way the Democrats all came to her, to her side, I wonder, man. I mean, you're going to see that push. There's always been the push to make DC a state, make Puerto Rico a state, because that would severely tilt the electoral makeup of the country. And especially if you add in like the Samoas, the Virgin Islands, Guam, add in all these territories as states, that's going to change a lot of things. Plaskett has a lot of ties. There's a lot of history with Jeffrey Epstein. A lot.
Yeah. Well, she's the delegate from that
little
region of the
St.
world.
James is part of the Virgin Islands. So that's interesting.
Yeah, Cabin Girl 62, thank you both for your marathon coverages. Thank you so much, and it's our pleasure. And then True Deplorable, does everyone remember Massey's wife died suddenly right after he told the world he was the only representative not funded by AIPAC, possibly being threatened? And it was the first thing that I thought of when I saw that clip of him saying, "You're not going to pull my fingernails out. You're not going to cut my fingers off." Because that's the kind of that's the kind of, so I've mentioned this on the air before, but I'm rewatching Scandal, the show Scandal, and kind of the long plot of Scandal through the 7 seasons is that there's a secret shadow government intelligence entity, and they do cut people's fingers off and pull their fingernails out and all sorts of horrible things. We as I mentioned earlier, we see that happening with the South American gangs that are here in Colorado, and I'm sure other places, that kind of threat and following through on that threat is not out of the realm of possibility in 2024 politics. It's kind of horrifying to think about, and you want to think that it's not true, but it was the go-to that Thomas Massey said about why he's not voting for Johnson. You can cut my fingers off. You can pull my fingernails out. You can shove bamboo under my fingernails. I'm not voting for Johnson. It's an interesting thing to say.
I agree. I am currently running my article through what do you call it? Proofreading. That's the one good thing AI is really good at, is proofreading. Like they can catch the little spelling errors that would otherwise make.
I'll tell you, the one thing that AI is really good at is evaluating and training itself on specific court cases.
I know Darren killed it on that for
Darren
you.
crushed it. Yeah. Darren trained an entire, for those that don't know, Darren at MooComX on X is my co-host on the Colorado show, and he trained a ChatGPT model on my case specifically. All the evidence, all of the pleadings, all of the trial exhibits, court transcripts, everything. So it was able to give me good advice on writing the appeal. Very cool. I went up to Brian at Myrtle Beach GART, and I'm like, dude, I'm bought into AI now. And you're like, no. And I'm like, sorry, dude.
Well, I mean, it can be used for good. It can be used for good. Unfortunately.
Yeah, it was also a very emotional moment for me when that happened, because I was wigging out. I was sitting at the table at that GART when I got the notification on my phone that the Department of Justice had filed an amicus brief in the case, asking the court to, overturn the district court ruling and everything. And I started crying, sitting at a table with General Quast and Joni and everybody. And I just get up and leave. And then shortly after that, I talked to Darren, and he's like, let me help you. And he started feeding it everything into all the documents into AI. And it really did help. And I got it done. The briefs are on my Twitter if folks want to read them.
All right. I wonder how long they're going to make us wait.
Well, they haven't recessed, so that's something. Is Johnson back in? Because he had left the room. Is that him back in the corner there?
I think he was there.
Yeah, there he is. He's back behind that crowd.
Yeah, he's got all the boys around him, trying to figure out how to finagle everybody.
Oh, hell yeah. Parallel 8 Media. I know Skynet and all, but if the role of Congress is to be the voice of the people, couldn't they be replaced by AI bots programmed to accurately represent the people? 8 tracks. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong.
No.
It's just here. So here's the thing: is that who's programming the bots?
That's always the concern, and that's what we
Yeah.
talk about all the time.
Yeah.
That's what we talk about. Anytime you have a technological advancement, the government quickly picks it up and figures out how to use it to kill people.
Yeah, because what they really need is the perception of representation of the people.
I think I got that figured out and done. So now I can go back to watching a bunch of overpaid bureaucrats, legislators standing around with a bunch of bureaucrats, actually. So,
Yeah, they look way too happy.
oh, I know.
I don't think they're appropriately feeling how much we hate them.
216 to 215. Who were the Democrats that voted? Other?
I don't think any of them at the end of the day. Hang on. Let me just double check that. No,
No,
there were a couple that didn't vote in the first thing, one or two that didn't that were skipped over, but they voted at the end. Yeah, all of the Democrats voted for Jeffries.
Okay.
That's all the votes they have is 215.
Poor Jeffries, man. It's been like 20 votes now, and he's been nominated for every single one, and he still hasn't won yet. He's 0-20.
So Parallel 8 Media says who's going to program the bots is akin to who's currently programming the human reps. Yes, except you have an additional degree of removal from the people if we're talking about bots. Because with these, people that we see on the screen, you can go to their offices, you can, find them in the street. In terms of who's programming the bots, you don't even know if you're interacting with a bot, and B, you think your party's representatives, etc., are programming your bots. If we're doing this, right, this is a hypothetical of replacing representatives with bots programmed to the will of the people, but you're going to have to trust the code. I'm opposed to this idea. Just for the record, I want a representative that I can yell at. Right now, it's Lauren Boebert. It's going to be a fun 2 years.
Who was the one that called her MAGA Mike Johnson?
Oh, I don't
Anna
know.
Paulina Luna? Was it Luna? It might have been Luna.
I don't know.
It might have been Luna. I didn't like that. So the veil. Oh, look, the camera woman gets her moment.
Yeah. Bet she's wishing she washed her hair today.
Little bit of recognition. Wow, you women picked that up, huh? I didn't even realize that. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Deep down, every woman has a little catty bitch in them.
Ooh.
It's just a fact.
I thought like people wash their hair every day.
No, I don't. I wash my hair like twice a week. If you wash your hair every day, it actually dries it out. It's pretty bad.
Yeah. I learned that being married.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, women don't wash their hair every day? And she's like, no, like 2 or 3 times a week most.
Yeah. I shower every day, but I only wash my hair a couple times a week.
Tattoo teacher says yes, they do. So maybe there's like a secret shampoo.
No, what she's saying, yes, they do too, is that every woman has a little catty bitch in them. That's what she's agreeing with. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I think I'm picking that up correctly.
That could be fair. Catty bitch. Yes, you do. All right.
Whiskey Girl says it dries it out for sure. Second day hair is the best.
Just any hair would be the best.
Tattooed was agreeing with the catty bitch thing. Yeah.
Okay. Well, fair enough. I don't have hair, so I don't really have to worry about it. I have to shave my head like 2 or 3 times a week, if that counts.
Yeah, that's doing your hair.
Yeah. Got a little hair care. You know how much money
you put rainfall on your head?
I do.
Yeah, you should do the
like once a week, not every time, just once a week.
No, I wouldn't do it every time. Yeah. But the castor blend is good stuff. You should do that. Keep your skin nice and young and glowy.
I'll have to try that. I just got my zeolite order yesterday, so looking forward to that. All right, so we are just killing it here, sitting here watching a bunch of entitled nitwits standing around doing nothing, making deals. What's the deal? Single line appropriation bills. Yes, I promise. And then it never happens.
Yeah, we're gonna bake some stuff into the rules that we're gonna suspend whenever we want to break them.
Yeah. Cam Cooksey asked if I wash my beard every day. Yes. For the most part, I don't condition it every day. I wash it every day.
What?
Do I wash my beard every day?
Oh yeah. Do you?
But I have a
hope so.
special soap.
That's on your face.
Yeah, I have a special soap that's all like natural.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And Cash will come over, and every single time I eat, he just sits there and smells my beard because I guess there's like food droppings in there. So he just like sits there face to face and just like buries his nose in my beard.
He's the littlest one, right? The puppy.
Yeah. Come here, Cash. You want to come over here? Say hi to everybody. We got nothing but time to kill until the next vote. Come here, bud. Cash, come here. Come on. No? He's looking at me. Yeah, come on.
Lily Pad's like amateur.
I know. He's like, do I want to get up? He's like, come here, buddy. Let's say hi to everybody. Say hello, Mr. Cashew. Say hello.
Wait, we gotta go solo on this.
Say hello, buddy. Say hello, Mr. Cash. He's like a raccoon.
His face.
He's like a raccoon. He looks just like a raccoon. Are you a raccoon dog? Huh? No, I'm an Australian cattle dog. I like to chase cows and herd everything. And just sit here and mind my own business. All right.
Mush. His face looks like one of my border collies' name is Poe, and we named her Poe because when she was a puppy, she was just this ball of fur with a face like that with the speckles down the middle, and she looks kind of like the Kung Fu Panda, Poe, the Jack Black character. So we named her Poe, and his little smushy face reminds me of her when she was a puppy. I just have Lily Pad here. Dog comms.
Listen to this. Brianna Morello, respect for her, but she posts on Twitter, I just spoke to the FBI. The FBI says journalists were allowed to enter the New Orleans terrorist home after. Quote, FBI Houston cleared the scene Thursday morning and released it back to the property owner. The property owner has discretion as to who they don't allow to enter their property once law enforcement has released it. I also asked the question why the FBI didn't seize the laptop, Quran, and other materials in the terrorist home, and they did not comment.
Because it's all freaking fake. I also don't believe the Cybertruck story. I think they're lying about that guy.
Yeah, I do too. Let me try and add this tweet in here while we're killing time waiting for.
Are they back yet? Let's see.
No, you could put it on the side screen there.
Yeah, I have to find it again because I lost it. There we go. Share this instead. Zigzag. Fancy CanCon beard shampoo. Go on. My beard is thoroughly intrigued.
It's called Beard Guys. They should be a sponsor, but I will mention them one time and only one time.
We should go get them as a sponsor. We have a lot of beards on Badlands.
We do have a new sponsor coming on board here, I think.
Is it beard related?
No, but I'm excited. Okay. What are we doing here? Oh, we can call in. We should. Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, let's do call-ins.
We won't be able to. It'll be busy, but Wouldn't that be
Why?
epic if we could call in and be like, "Hey guys."
Oh, call in to C-SPAN?
Yeah.
I thought you meant do call-ins on here and hear from the audience.
Oh,
Which
we
should
could do that too. We could do that
Yeah.
too, but
You're the one with the phone number.
I guess I can. Man, that's a pain in the neck. What do we do if it goes into why we vote?
Discuss it with Chris Gleason. I mean, we have like an hour of them doing a roll call if there's a vote happening during why we vote. So while the roll call is happening, we can talk about smurfing and the Florida stuff and all of that, and then get back to the speaker stuff. Separate stream, though. We'll have to do that thing where we end and then start again.
Ugh, that's a nightmare. It's a nightmare.
It's not that big of a deal. You're being dramatic.
It's a nightmare. I'm just looking at some of the names popping up here. Carnivorous vegan. What a name. That's like
Manander 7. What deals are they making to the 3 holdouts? Wrong answers only. Love it.
All right. There you go. What deals are the 3 holdouts making? Wrong answers only. We will read them as they pop up in the chat.
My son just walked in and Lily Pad came like all the way out. She's like, what's happening over there? Who is that? I have to say hi. Yeah. These are my dog comms.
Dog comms.
She loves being in this thing more than anything. The other day, I think it was yesterday, somebody posted in, that looks like Monsters, Inc., which is about adrenochrome. Why does Ash have that in the shot? Seriously, guys. First of all, this was a gift from Frantic Missy, and Lily Pad loves it more than anything. She wants to be inside of this thing, and it's cute. So not everything is about the blood and the children. Some things are just a dog bed.
CanCon is a drama queen. Ha ha ha. What did I say that was drama
That's
queen?
a fact. That it was a nightmare that we'd have to end the stream and start a new stream.
Oh, it is a nightmare.
A nightmare.
It is a nightmare.
Your nightmares seem tame.
Keith Self is holding out for a case of Shinerbach, bottles only. Just another Texan. All right, what else we got? I wonder nothing gets done. Such a circus. I agree.
Vaccine passports for all representatives.
Bay Theater Dave, I should go outside and watch the grass grow. More drama, way more authentic. Please don't, because then you will leave us by ourselves. Scheisler says they're asking who's going to be eating the most dicks. Interesting. Vaccine passports for all representatives. New Deal. Spotzel. What else we got?
Spetzel. I've been informed is how you say that. Spetzel.
Spetzel. Chip Roy holding out to rename chlamydia to Chiproidia.
$1 billion deals.
They want the cover of the pictorial calendar. Wife and kids swap deals. That's the Madison Cawthorn DC.
I wish we could hear what they were saying.
Oh, Johnson's talking to Jeffries. What's it going to take to get some Democrats, man? What's it going to take?
Look at the screen. Look at this. Look at the body language happening in this conversation. He's leaning over him. Oh,
and he's mumbling as much as he can, so you can't.
Johnson was kind of, moving back a little bit.
Polymathanon, I got you, bro, or sis. That's the one thing I'm horrible at. I can never remember.
They're gonna kiss.
Ash, you would do it. What am I doing? What are we doing? They're gonna kiss.
That would be must-see TV.
Flag the time on that. I might go back and add like Careless Whisper to that. Make some drama music for it. Never gonna dance again. Guilty feet have got no rhythm.
Though it's easy to pretend. No, I'm not a fool.
Missed first 2 hours. Please recap. The vote failed.
Yeah.
And
Well, we can do a quick recap of the outcome of the vote. There were 6 or 7 people that didn't vote or voted alternatively, but then at the end, anybody that didn't vote can come back in and vote again, and everybody except for 3 people voted on a party line. So all of the Democrats voted for Hakeem Jeffries. All of the Republicans voted for Mike Johnson, with the exception of Thomas Massey, who voted for Tom Emmer, Ralph Norman, who voted for Jim Jordan, and Keith Self, who voted for Byron Donald. Those 3 dissenters, they can only have 2 dissenters, and so those 3 made it so that we have to do a second round of voting. Unclear if they will nominate somebody other than Johnson. They did not nominate anybody other than Johnson for the first round. We still had 3 other candidates voted for. So it's unclear if in the second round, when they do nomination speeches, there will be somebody else nominated. But this is, it just looks like temper tantrums because they really only have 3 votes. When we watched the 15 rounds, we had 20 people dissenting. There was coordinated opposition from Matt Gaetz and that caucus that was pushing for a specific deal as it pertained to the rules with voting for Kevin McCarthy. And they got that. Now, as we've discussed on this stream, they just suspend the rules when they don't want to follow them. So that's, that's how that goes. But we don't have a coordinated opposition here. We don't have an alternate candidate that people are getting behind. We don't have any demands, at least not publicly, that we're being told about what this resistance is for. So they need to get one more vote. And it'll be, it'll have to be either Massey, Norman, or Self. I don't know. My money's on Self.
Crosses.
I think Self switches. That's my. Now I was completely wrong on how this vote was going to go, so nobody listened to me. But
where's Self? Is he Indiana? Keith Self.
Keith Self is. Oh, Keith Self, I think, just switched his vote.
Oh wow, 218. 2 of them did.
Yeah, Keith Self.
Oh, Johnson wins.
Right as I said that, the thing updated. That's so funny.
We saved face. Wait.
Keith Self is Texas's third.
Procedural question. No, what is it? What are they? Procedural inquiry. Can you do that after parliamentary inquiry? There you go.
Oh, it looks like the Jim Jordan vote just switched as well. So Massey is the only remaining holdout. How do they do that? Why don't they have to vote again?
Yeah,
turn the sound on C-SPAN and see what they're saying.
It is.
Oh, sorry, this is mine. Okay, that doesn't help us. The vote was still, ADIG says the vote was still open. Interesting.
You did it, Mr. Speaker. You did it. Congratulations. Now we can go back to passing continuing resolutions and running the American people into more and more debt. $36 trillion.
Members present and voting. Representative Tim Burchett is joining us by phone. He is a Republican from Tennessee. Congressman Burchett, what just happened on the floor of the House of Representatives?
Well, you had 2 members. One had voted for Jim Jordan. I think the other one voted for Byron Donald, and they just flipped their vote. There was a question of whether the vote had been called or not, and so I guess they decided. The parliamentarians had not called the votes, but now Speaker Johnson is Speaker Johnson.
On the
there you go.
Vote,
first round.
Saw Mike Johnson, Keith Self, and Ralph Norman walk off the floor together in a trio. What was that conversation about? Do you know, Mr. Burchett?
I would say it was where they wanted to be philosophically and what they needed to get that vote.
Now, you were on the list of questionables for Mike Johnson. I hate to characterize you, but is that a fair characterization?
That's a very fair characterization.
And
prayed
you,
about it, and I figured out what I needed to do.
why did you support Mike Johnson on the first ballot?
Because he's never lied to me, and I know where he's at philosophically. We just need to support him more in the conservative causes. And I think he's going to be a great speaker.
Tim Burchett, Republican of Tennessee, we appreciate your spending a minute with us. The House is back in session.
Oh, here we go.
Johnson of the state of Louisiana has received 218.
Here, mute yours, Ashley.
First round? Okay.
Kevin McCarthy.
Oh, because I'm not sharing my screen. My bad. I thought it was my screen. I apologize.
So a little bit of drama, but still one round party line vote with Massey as the only dissenter as the result.
At this point, everybody's clapping. They're like, okay, we get to go home, celebrate. Have the Madison Cawthorn parties. Kevin McCarthy parties.
The Honorable Hakeem Jeffries of the state of New York has received 215. And the Honorable Tom Emmer of the state of Minnesota has received 1. Therefore, the Honorable Mike Johnson of the state of Louisiana, having received a majority of the votes cast, is duly elected Speaker of the House of Representatives for the 119th Congress.
There you have it.
Speech, 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 speech.
The clerk appoints the following committee to escort the Speaker-elect to the chair. The gentleman from Louisiana, Mr. Scalise. The gentleman from New York, Mr. Jeffries.
Mute it for a sec.
The gentleman from Minnesota, Mr. Emmer.
So he's going to give his speech here in a second. Q Fan Addict with the Rumble Rant. They don't have to revote because the official session was not adjourned, aka the first vote was not officially closed. I'd heard that answered earlier, so that's good context. Thank you so much, Q Fan, and thank you for the rant. And then A Dig, thanks for the coverage, guys. I'm glad it didn't take 15 rounds. Same.
All right.
Agreed. Thank you guys so much.
Mr. Morelli, the gentleman from Pennsylvania, Mr. Reschenthaler, the gentlewoman from Michigan, Mrs. Dingle, and the members of the Louisiana delegation, Mr. Higgins, Ms. Letlow, Mr. Carter, and Mr. Fields. The committee will retire from the chamber to escort the Speaker-elect to the chair.
Knock it off with the negatives, Cameron. This is a win. Let's celebrate. Definitely not celebrating Speaker Johnson yet. I'll celebrate on March 14th when they pass the line appropriation bill.
You're breaking up for me.
It's probably because I got sound on. Am I still breaking up?
Yeah. No, now I can hear you.
Oh, it's probably because the sound's coming through my board.
What did you say about? I just heard the word negative.
I'll celebrate. I'll celebrate on March 14th when they pass a single line appropriation bill and not a continuing resolution. Until then, not concerned.
I plan on celebrating when Doge takes a lot of their power away.
That too.
Because a lot of their power is fake. They just gave it to themselves, and they constitutionally can't do that.
Is he up there yet? No, he's still shaking hands and.
Yeah.
I don't
know. Do you want to listen to the speeches?
I feel like is it all of their speeches or just his?
They'll do Hakeem will speak and then Johnson probably. That happened last time.
I kind of feel like we have to.
Okay.
I feel like there's probably some,
I guess,
civic value to it.
Maybe. It is historic.
It is, in the sense that, I mean, the 119th Congress will be in history as one more than the 118th. And in 50 years, we'll probably never remember Mike Johnson. We will remember Donald Trump. but we.
Oh, I think we'll remember Mike Johnson, because I think that Mike Johnson is Trump's guy to be Speaker of the House during this period where we make America great again and bring about the golden age.
What if he gets up there and he drops his Trump secret? Has Trump truthed anything?
Oh, that would be so cool. I have his truth here. Let me see. Let's see.
Oh, I have a VPN on, so I don't
refresh. Refresh, Donald Trump. No updated posts since the last two we read. Yeah,
Chip
listening. RP61 says, mute Jeffries. Can't stand that man. Yeah, listening to Jeffries give a speech is going to be painful. He's so arrogant.
He is. He definitely is. All right, let's. Yep.
A Fritz 12345. Could this be the last fake Congress to be sworn in? From your thumbs to God's ears. I'm assuming you're using your thumbs. You might be typing with your whole fingers.
I am. There is no message from Trump or from Elon Musk yet.
Yeah.
I figure those are the two people that would have been on it. Oh,
there's Lauren Boebert on the screen. It's my
your favorite
congresswoman. It's my congresswoman.
Favorite. Wearing a blue blazer. Couldn't wear a red blazer.
Yeah.
What district is she in now? 2?
CD4.
4.
She used to be in CD3 and she swapped. And we really didn't get a choice. There was a competitive primary happening, and then she announced and jumped into it. And then all of the powerful entities, the donors, the lobbies, the different factions of the party all aligned behind her. And those of us that are like, wait, what? She doesn't live in CD4. We were just told to shut up. We all just need to get behind Lauren. She's a known entity. She's a reliable vote. It's like, well, yeah, but also it's like half the landmass of the freaking state is CD4. We can't have somebody that actually lives here. Apparently not. Those poor kids.
Come on. Oh, wow. That is not a good look for AOC.
That is her look, though. That is her face.
That is her face.
That's her face.
Can somebody make a horse whinnying meme?
Q fan addicts. So at least now, even with Johnson's warts, I personally am celebrating the fact that Jamie Ratskin's job to derail counting delegate votes has just been significantly more challenging. I'll take it. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. There's no way that happens at this point. I mean, that was dependent on them taking either the Senate or the House, and they took neither. So
maybe
there's I don't think there's any reality in which that occurs now.
So SCOTUS said they need implementing legislation to make the 14th Amendment work the way that they want it to.
Mm-hmm.
Raskin and Nadler originally said they were working on implementing legislation. They haven't gotten that done. They don't have control of the House, and Speaker Johnson will be responsible for whether or not any such implementing legislation would make it to the floor. So that's dead. I think it's safe to say that implementing legislation on the 14th Amendment is dead. However, they have recently shifted their talking points to SCOTUS saying that it required implementing legislation was in dicta and therefore not binding, not a precedent that's being set. And so they're saying that doesn't matter, that they don't actually need implementing legislation, that they can accomplish the oath-breaking insurrectionist play some other way. If they try, it will go back up to SCOTUS, and I think SCOTUS will tell them they need implementing legislation. But we're not out of the drama yet as it pertains to whether or not they're going to allow President Trump to take a seat.
I think we're out of the drama.
Maybe.
In terms of legislation, the legislature doing anything to stop it. Absolutely. I think they're still going to continue to try and, make something happen outside. There's rumors last night, that Joe Biden was working on declaring a state of emergency. That's not going to happen.
I don't know, man.
Unless we get more of these stupid copycats. And
how desperate are they?
Very, very.
That's the question. Is what and what is the true risk profile for these guys if they don't resist successfully and they're facing the 47th president, Agenda 47, which includes accountability and prosecutions and justice for all of the things that happened over the past 4 years and going back to 2015, right? Spying on the campaign, all of that. We see no accountability for all of the horrible things that they've done, for the past 10 years. Be interesting.
Are they desperate enough to continue sending New York Post reporters into unsecured Islamic, quote unquote, Islamic terrorist Operation Gladio?
It's the wrong question, Brian. The right question is, are they desperate enough to keep deploying their MK Ultra bombers?
Right. I mean, how many do they have? Come on, Speaker.
Yeah.
We're waiting
They
for
really have no sense of urgency.
No, they don't.
These people work for us and they seem pretty lazy.
They're just like, whenever we get around to it.
Yeah.
They're already working on the March 14th budget bill. Now it starts.
Mrs. A. Watley says she moved districts. Colorado got a new one. Colorado actually got a new district last Congress, and it was a woman named Yadira Caraveo that took that seat. It was CD8. That was the new district that we got in Colorado. And she ran for re-election and lost to Gabe Evans, who is a freshman congressman for CD8 in Colorado. Lauren Boebert was in CD3 and unelectable in CD3. She barely won in the 118th Congress. And so she swapped to CD4, which is ostensibly a redder district, I guess. But like I said, we really didn't get much of a choice in terms of who the nominee was going to be for the CD4 Republican ticket.
The House may begin the next appropriation bill on March. That is some bad information that I'm getting from Perplexity AI.
I'm shocked, I tell you. S_Hole, Ash and CanCon reference for why we vote possibly, and a link to a YouTube, or a Rumble rather, that I'm going to check out. We'll see. Interesting. I'll check that out. Thank you so much for the rant. So it was, slight little amount of drama, but we got there on the first vote on a party line, with the exception of Thomas Massey, who was afraid of getting his fingernails pulled out
and cut off,
and his fingers cut off.
Come on, get up there and speak.
Yeah.
Speech. Somebody do the spoon on the glass. Ding, ding,
Should we listen to what the very serious C-SPAN analysts are saying?
Sure.
And then served off and on until his death in 1961.
Democrat from Texas. What was his special power? What was his ability?
He had a lot of special powers, but he was a very good fit for the nature of the House and the Democratic caucus at the time. He was very good at negotiating. He was very good at sort of balancing the different wings of his party. He had a northern liberal wing and a southern conservative wing. Part of that was discussions and conversation. Part of it was making sure that the southern wing had sufficient influence in terms of sitting on committees and being chairs of committees. It also meant keeping certain things off the House floor that would divide his party, particularly civil rights, until not in his entire speakership,
implementing legislation,
trying to avoid the kind of public fights that would divide the party and give the minority Republicans leverage.
There was a speaker in the 1920s who was married to Alice Roosevelt Long.
Mm-hmm.
Joseph Long.
Mm-hmm.
Buildings were named after him, right? Nicholas Longworth.
Nicholas Longworth.
Right.
Yes.
Was he an impactful speaker?
He was. He didn't serve as long as folks like Rayburn, or I should mention also Pelosi, also served as speaker for quite a long time. But in terms of his ability to govern the House, he was fairly adept at it. He also, interestingly, was part of negotiations for a protracted battle for speaker.
Okay, I'm bored.
In the 1920s. Not his.
Just come on and give your speech already. My husband
Right.
made enchiladas.
For lunch?
Yeah, there's enchiladas waiting for me when we're done here.
My Christy sent me a shirt for Alpha to wear for Alpha making sandwiches in Vegas. I'll text it to you, but it's pretty epic. It's pretty epic.
Nice.
Don't forget to remind me of that, because otherwise I'll forget.
Okay, I will.
It is an absolute must wear. I want to see him wear this shirt. All right, what are we doing?
Oh, here we go.
This guy's looking very serious.
Sound.
I would like to call the 119th Congress's Speaker of the House, Speaker Mike Johnson's package.
Gentlemen, we have to keep our phony baloney jobs.
Gentlemen, we need to get back to business as usual.
Crane out there, chicken enchiladas.
Continuing resolutions at the same level of spending with slight increases.
Listen, Ukraine isn't going to fund itself, guys.
We gotta fund Ukraine. We gotta. Zelensky needs our funding.
Because Russia bad.
All right, come on, dude. Everybody's got to shake his hand. Doesn't she have like a backstory, Kamek, in Colorado?
Kamek?
Yeah, Kamek.
She's in Florida.
I know she's a representative on the West Coast, but somebody had told me that she like originated from Colorado, and there's some questionable things in her past in Colorado. I can't remember off the top of my head.
I don't know. Should we listen to Kamala Harris not being able to say the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yeah.
Join me.
All right, hang on. This is trending on Twitter. Somebody mentioned this in the chat before.
Press play.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't realize you brought me up.
Join me in pledging allegiance to our flag. Pledge allegiance to the United States of America, and to the join me in pledging allegiance to our.
That's not.
Pledge allegiance.
Anticlimactic. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's worth it. It's worth it.
Yeah.
Join me in pledging allegiance to the United States and whatever. There's a thing, man. You know the thing. Oh, he's almost there.
Oh, you know the thing.
He's almost made his way up there. In the first speaker elected in one vote in the 3 speaker sessions, Mike Johnson. With the slimmest majority. We got him over the finish line. Congratulations.
Yeah. We're not a 50-50 country, and this theater only serves to make people believe that we are.
No, we're not. I think yesterday Joe Rogan reposted a Trump or Kamala poll that he had on X with like 182,000 votes, and Trump had over 90%.
Chris Jacques says, I'm back. Do we have a speaker? Yes. If you're just joining us, we had the first round of vote that went 216 to 215. Before the vote officially closed, everybody except for Thomas Massey changed their votes. So we are at 218 to 250. Mike Johnson is 15. Mike Johnson is the Speaker of the 119th Congress. We're just waiting for his speech.
Here's Jeffries.
Pelosi. It's great to see you back in the chamber.
No, it's not. He's lying. No, nobody thinks that.
Whip Clark, Chairman Aguilar, thank you for your kind and generous words of nomination. To my colleagues in government, new members of Congress, families, friends, all those assembled. It's a high honor and a distinct privilege to welcome you to the People's House and the 119th Congress. The Bible teaches us in Ecclesiastes, the 3rd chapter, 1st verse, that for everything there is a season and a time for every matter under heaven.
Guys think he's going to be struck by lightning.
There's a time to campaign and a time to govern.
That's not in Ecclesiastes, by the way.
This is a new Congress. The American people need us as their elected representatives in this season to put down our partisan swords and pick up bipartisan plowshares. It's time for us to come together, not as Democrats or Republicans, but as Americans, to get things done for the people. In that spirit, House Democrats will work hard to find bipartisan common ground with our Republican colleagues in the incoming administration on any issue, whenever and wherever possible, in order to make life better for everyday Americans. For far too long in this country, the cost of living has gone up, but the size of the middle class has come down. Housing costs are too high. Grocery costs are too high. Childcare costs are too high.
It's your agenda.
Are too high.
This is all Democrat agenda.
Are too high. America is too expensive.
Oh, I thought he was going to say America is too high, which would have been
in this great country.
I wish.
Who for decades have been struggling to live.
Looks like his human skin mask is shifting.
That is not acceptable in the wealthiest country in the history of the world. We need to build an affordable economy for hard-working American taxpayers, and we need to build it now. It's time for us
we had one
to come
in
together
2020
and finally lower the high cost of living in the United States of America once and for all.
Lily Pad is growling a little bit. She doesn't like him.
And we will work with anyone of any party to get that done. We will work with anyone to secure our borders, and we will work with anyone to fix our broken immigration system in a comprehensive and bipartisan manner.
No, you get no say.
At the same period of time, we will push back against far-right extremism whenever
fuck all
necessary.
The way off.
So let me be clear. Social Security and Medicare are not entitlement programs. They are earned benefits. Hardworking
Yeah, but you spend against them, though.
Pay in to Social Security and Medicare every day, every week, every month, every year throughout their entire adult life.
Yeah, and then you guys spend it.
Those benefits. Worked hard for those benefits and deserve those benefits. So as Democrats, our promise to the American people is that we will fight hard to make sure that no one in this town takes away Social Security or Medicare from the American people. Not now, not ever. No means never.
Timu Obama.
Our position is that it is not acceptable
Kmart
to cut
Obama.
Social Security,
Great value.
cut Medicare, cut Medicaid,
RC Cola.
cut
Dollar
veterans
store.
benefits, or cut nutritional assistance from children and
Polymathonon
families
says,
in order to
does
pay
discount
for
Obama
massive
have a man
tax
for a
breaks
wife
for
too?
billionaires and wealthy corporations.
A
House
lot of them do.
Democrats
You see Schumer's wife?
will fight hard to protect working class Americans and the things that matter to them, not the wealthy, the well-off, and the well-connected. Keep your hands off Social Security and Medicare.
You keep your hands off of it. Stop fucking spending it.
Over the last 4 years, it's been a great honor for us to work alongside President
make
Joe
everything more
Biden and Vice
expensive.
President Kamala Harris,
Groceries too high.
whose
Insurance
administration
too high. Housing too high.
rescued the economy from a once-in-a-century pandemic.
Oh my God.
Delivered historic infrastructure investments, created more than 15 million good-paying jobs, enacted common sense gun safety legislation for the first time in 30 years, provided life-sustaining health insurance to veterans suffering from toxic exposure, championed the largest investment in combating the
Alibaba
climate crisis
Obama,
in the history
which
of the
we
world,
could just say
which
Ali
we will
Obama.
defend, and brought down
Alibaba.
the high price of life-saving prescription drugs for millions of Americans. Thank you, President Biden and Vice President Harris, for your powerful, principled, and purposeful public service.
That made everything too high, as you just recounted. Do people actually believe this? What's coming out of his mouth?
2 months ago, the American people elected Donald Trump as the 47th president of the United States
Damn
of
right
America.
we did. I really do think his human mask is sliding.
Thank you for that very generous applause. It's okay. There are no election deniers on our side of the aisle.
I'm sorry. Can we go? Let's just roll back to 2016 for a second, homie.
One should love America. One should love America when you win and when you lose. That's the patriotic thing to do, and that's the America that House Democrats will fight hard to preserve because we love this country. America is bigger than any one campaign, any one election, or any one individual. America, the land of the free and the home of the brave. Let us never forget that our country is free, not simply because we are strong. America is strong because we are free. That freedom is now under assault. There are some in this country who apparently believe that the freedom of economic opportunity that made them wealthy should not apply to everyone else. Our message to that crowd is simple. Democrats will never abandon the long walk toward freedom. We will fight hard to defend the freedom of opportunity that makes the American dream possible. We will fight hard for the freedom to vote.
Did you say fart hard?
And to fight for a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. We will fight for the freedom to organize and join a union of your choice. We will fight to defend the free enterprise system, but work hard to make sure that it actually works for working class Americans. And we will always defend a woman's freedom to make her own reproductive health care decisions. America promises one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. That's the America House Democrats will fight hard to preserve. God bless you. God bless the House of Representatives. May God continue to bless the United States of America.
Lame. We're so free. You can't even go fishing without a license, but we are so free. So free. Oh, wait, he's still going.
My responsibility to present the gavel to the gentleman from the great state of Louisiana, the son of a firefighter, a God-fearing man, a husband, and a loving father of four, the 56th Speaker of the United States House of Representatives, the Honorable Mike Johnson.
He did say fart hard.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Leader Jeffries, all of our treasured colleagues here in the House. I'm grateful for this nomination. I'm grateful for this election, for the confidence this chamber has placed in me. It is the great honor of my life to serve this body with all of you. Of course, these are difficult days in our home state of Louisiana, where I come from. We all know about the terrorist attack in New Orleans, and it's really shaken our state. People are reeling from that attack. It took the lives of 14 innocent people, and it injured dozens more. And I wanted to begin appropriately today. If we could, I'd ask you all to join me in a moment of silence for the victims of this horrific act. Thank you. Thank you for that. I believe in giving honor where honor is due, and all of us do well to honor our spouses. My wife happens to be here this time. She didn't make it last time. It happened a little sudden. Kelly, would you stand up here in the gallery? Thank you. And we have our 4 children here, Hannah, Abby, Jack, and Will. We all stand up just really quickly. Come on. I wanted to do that. All of us recognize that there are no perks to being a congressman's kid, right? It's all sacrifice. And our spouses put up with so much, endless hours in travel and all the responsibilities upon us. And we're good to remind them how important they are to us and how we could not do the job without them. And so it's appropriate for all of us to do that. Thank you. Thank you, guys. This is a momentous time in the nation of the history of our nation. It really is. And as members of the 119th Congress, we are stewards of the great American Revolution that began almost exactly now 250 years ago, 1775 and 1776. It will fall at the time of this Congress, the great anniversary. And in these 2.5 centuries, we've been reminded repeatedly that freedom is never free. And we have stood tall as the greatest nation on the face of the earth. It is without debate. We are the freest, the most powerful, most benevolent nation that has ever been in the history of the world. And it's not by happenstance. We're the ones who settled the West. We're the ones who ended slavery, who laid the transcontinental railroad, who gave women the right to vote, who won 2 world wars, who landed on the moon, and who won the Cold War. Throughout our history, we have done what no one thought was possible. And still, at 250 years old, our nation is actually a young nation. This past fall, I had opportunity to go to the G7 speakers meeting. It was held in Italy. It's the only international trip I took as speaker over the last 14 months because I didn't have time to do it, but it was a quick 3-day jaunt, and met with my colleagues, the speakers of the other parliaments, the great governments around the world. And we talked about that, how really special America is, how unique we are in our place on the globe. and how important it is for us to maintain that. And as I talked to these colleagues from around the world, I thought our closest allies, who recognize how important we are, how important this body, this House is. I thought about how is it that such a young country has become so exceptional, so singular in its importance, that today stands as the world's leader in liberty and the economy and culture.
We will fight
100 years ago, President Calvin Coolidge answered that very question in his inaugural address.
What was that?
March of
We will
100
fight
years ago,
hard.
exactly, almost. He said this: "We best serve our own country and most successfully discharge our obligations to humanity by continuing to be openly and candidly, intensely and scrupulously American." I love that. I love that. Today, yeah, that's right. That's an applause line.
We will fight hard.
Today, my friends, our nation is the envy of the world. Why? Because we have been marked by a spirit and a people who are explicitly that. We are explicitly American. We don't try to be like other nations, and we recognize that a strong America is good for the entire world. And everybody around the globe knows that. That's right. We also recognize that the core principles that made America what we are must still be preserved today. The principles, I call them the 7 core principles of American conservatism, but it's really the 7 core principles of the nation itself. Individual freedom, limited government, the rule of law, peace through strength, fiscal responsibility, free markets, human dignity. These are the ingredients, the things that made us who we are. And in America, we know that human flourishing is best achieved by adherence to time-tested truths. We could list a number of those simple truths. Here's a couple. It's better to give a hand up than a hand out. That innovation thrives when bureaucracy dies. The simple truth that it is parents and families and not administrators that must be in charge of their children's education. The path of prosperity has long been paved with policies that put America and Americans first. And that is what we will champion in the 119th Congress. We have a mandate, and that was shown in the election cycle. The people want an America First agenda. They do. Sadly, for the past 4 years of divided government, too many politicians in Washington have done the opposite. Open borders and overregulation have destroyed our cities and stifled innovation. Inflation and weak leadership have left Americans poorer, and they have placed our country in a perilous position. That's right. But in recent months, we've witnessed something happening, something that's really remarkable, a political moment in our modern history, a groundswell of Americans from every state, race, and religion who now demand that we put the interest of Americans first again, and we will, and we will. This is a powerful new coalition of our country. It's a coalition that insists that we purge the policies of America last and we bury them in the graveyard of history's mistakes, because it was a big mistake. To that end, this Congress will renounce the status quo and we will listen to the voices of the people. We will act quickly and we will start by defending our nation's borders. That's the number one priority. Yes. In coordination with President Trump, this Congress will give our border and immigration enforcement agents the resources that they need to do their job. We will secure the border, we will deport dangerous, criminal, illegal aliens, and finally finish building the border wall. You said you'd work with us on that, Hakeem. I'm counting on it.
Vagina.
After 4 years of high inflation, we have a big agenda. We have a lot to do, and we can do it in a bipartisan fashion. We can fight high inflation, and we must. We'll give relief to Americans, and we'll extend the Trump tax cuts. We're going to protect our industries from one-sided trade deals, and we're going to bring overseas investments back to America's shores. That's right. We'll defeat the harmful effects of inflation, and we'll make life affordable again for America's hardworking people. As leaders of a nation with vast natural resources that God has blessed us with, it is our duty to restore America's energy dominance, and that's what we'll do. We have to apply common sense. We have to stop the attacks on liquefied natural gas, pass legislation to eliminate the Green New Deal, that funding. We're going to expedite new drilling permits. We're going to save the jobs of our auto manufacturers, and we're going to do that by ending the ridiculous EV mandates. And as heirs to the American Revolution and the descendants of patriots who defied tyranny, in the coming months, we are going to pass legislation to roll back the totalitarian fourth branch of government known as the administrative state. We're going to drastically cut back the size and scope of government. We're going to return the power back to the people. And in coordination with President Trump and his administration, we are going to create a leaner, faster, and more efficient federal workforce. We need to do that.
That is a crime.
Our
people should be
do not
arrested.
deserve to be ruled by millions of bureaucrats they've never voted for, never met, and can never hold accountable. They deserve a government that is led by those they've elected to lead. That is how Article 1 is supposed to work. That was the idea of the Congress, and we will return to that principle. The American people have called on us to reject business as usual and throw out the status quo. We must and we will heed their call. This is especially important as it comes to our nation's military. For too long, the Washington establishment has sought to appease and accommodate our nation's adversaries. They've tried to replace our military warriors with social justice warriors. It does not work. And while we're still the most powerful fighting force in the history of the world, by God's grace, the same establishment has eroded the capacities of our Army and Navy and diminished the readiness of our Air Force. We have to put an end to this madness. My friends and my colleagues, I think we should all unite in this idea. It is time now to reinstate fear in our enemies, refocus our mission on lethality, and realign our commitment to peace through strength right now. We have to prioritize the things that matter most. We have to make adequate investments in defense. This is the most dangerous moment since World War II, and everyone around the world is looking to America and looking to this body to ensure that we maintain the peace. What we're proposing now is just simply, as President Trump likes to say, a return to common sense. And he's exactly right. That message resonated across the country. I am very thankful personally that this body is filled with men and women who are committed to that change, to return to common sense. We can do this together. We should. It is our responsibility to do so. When I first took this gavel, many of you heard me say that I don't believe in luck or consequence. I believe in the idea of providence. And this morning, I participated with many of you early this morning in the 119th Congress Interfaith Prayer Service. It was held at St. Peter's Catholic Church. Many of you were there. It was an ecumenical service and a bipartisan service, which was great. My good friend Hakeem Jeffries began by a reading with the Old Testament. He read out of Deuteronomy 10. And then I was asked to provide a prayer for the nation. I offered one that is quite familiar to historians and probably many of us. It said right here in the program, it says right under my name, it is said each day of his 8 years of the presidency and every day thereafter until his death, President Thomas Jefferson recited this prayer. I wanted to share it with you here at the end of my remarks, not as a prayer per se right now, but as really as a reminder of what our third president and the primary author of the Declaration of Independence thought was so important that it should be a daily recitation. Let me just read you that prayer. It goes like this. Thomas Jefferson's Prayer for the Nation, it's entitled. Almighty God, who has given us this good land for our heritage, we humbly beseech thee that we may always prove ourselves a people mindful of thy favor and glad to do thy will. Bless our land with honorable ministry, sound learning, and pure manners. Save us from violence, discord, and confusion, from pride and arrogance, and from every evil way. Defend our liberties and fashion into one united people the multitude brought hither out of many kindreds and tongues. Endow with thy spirit of wisdom those whom in thy name we entrust the authority of government, that there may be justice and peace at home, and that through obedience to thy law, we may show forth thy praise among the nations of the earth. In time of prosperity, fill our hearts with thankfulness, and in the day of trouble, suffer not our trust in thee to fail, of which we ask through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. That was Thomas Jefferson's prayer. Yeah. Suffer not our trust in thee to fail. We will not fail. We cannot fail. We are all in this together. Our nation is counting on us to band together and solve these problems and get this done. I've said before that I believe God has elevated each one of you, that's my belief, to your positions of leadership. And it's an act of providence that you've all been placed in your specific roles in this specific moment at this historic time, at the 250-year inflection point of the greatest nation in the history of the world. It is no small thing. We're also witnesses to the providence that spared our incoming president, President Trump, from the assassin's bullet, remarkable as that was, and to the new coalition of Americans that has risen from every creed, color, and cul-de-sac who want us to put America first. Our people are asking for a thriving economy and a rebuilt middle class and strong borders and a strong military, and we can deliver that. See, these objectives and these aims don't have an R or a D behind them. They have a USA. That's what we're about. In just a few moments, we're all going to take an oath. It is the same one oath for one nation and under the banner of one great American flag. This is an opportunity for us to protect our shared American heritage.
This time we really mean it.
For self-government and to defend what Hakeem said earlier, the rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Working together, we have the potential to be one of the most consequential Congresses in the history of this great nation. So long as we work together, we do the right thing, and we put America first. As we think about all we've accomplished in the past 250 years, we can only imagine what life will be like 250 years from now. Whatever the future may look like, if we do our jobs now, we can help ensure that our civic virtues will endure, that this nation will still be an example to all the world for its greatness and its example of self-government, and that in spite of our great challenges and even our disagreements and our healthy debates, this extraordinary institution, the People's House, will still be standing strong. Thank you all so much, and God bless America.
All right. Glad that's finally over.
We do have an update from President Trump. Says, congratulations to Speaker Mike Johnson for receiving an unprecedented vote. Oh, where'd it go?
It's still there on
Oh,
yours. I've just
changed.
put it up because it's easier for folks to see this way. Yours is too hard to see.
Okay, well, you go ahead and read it then.
Oh, congratulations to Speaker Mike Johnson for receiving an unprecedented vote of confidence in Congress. Mike will be a great speaker, and our country will be the beneficiary. The people of America have waited 4 years for common sense, strength, and leadership. They'll get it now, and America will be greater than before.
Hoorah.
And there's not an R or a D behind that commitment, Brian. It's a USA. And we're all going to swear an oath that we totally aren't going to violate this time.
Yeah, we're going to, hey, 73 days until your next budget bill. Do we have more rants before we get out of here?
We have 3 more before we get out of here. Dirk McGurkin, late afternoon garage sale, Obama. I like that one. It's like the fire sale, everything's $1, Obama.
Hey, a quarter.
Yeah, quarter. Price check says, I'm glad Jeffries didn't fart hard in the moment of silence.
We will fart hard.
It's really fun. I put it up on X, and it loops. The video loops on X, so it's kind of funny when it loops. And then finally, hang on, I've got to. Okay, Polymathanon. I wish the speaker was stronger. This Johnson isn't hard enough.
That's what she said.
We will fart hard and incite an erection.
Yeah. Last minute, Renee Minoke. Thank you so much for your generous rant. Thank you both for streaming this today. I was so glad to find you online. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. We do content here on Badlands Media every single day. So tune in more often. Yeah.
Tonight, you can watch Ash and I at 7:30 p.m. Eastern talking about election fraud, followed by Eye of the Storm, followed by Liberty Den, where we like to sit back and have a good time on that show and talk shit.
Yeah, Liberty Den is it's our favorite shit show of the week. Yeah.
All right, well, that's all we got. I'm going on 8 hours already of streaming, I think. Something like that. Yeah, but okay, since
8 hours?
6 hours, 5.5. But then like 2.5 hours of prep. So yeah, I'm on like 8 hours. And then I got to jump right into.
All right. Well, go take a nap because we've got more shows later today. I'm going to go eat enchiladas.
You lucky. I might go to Taco Bell and grab a grilled cheese burrito.
Green chili chicken enchiladas because some folks were asking before. Call sign Cujo. Thank you, Ash and Can. You keep it fun. Thank you so much for your support. We try. We try to cover the special coverage of our government with the level of respect and decorum that it deserves.
It deserves. Yeah. Great point. All right, Ash. I'll see you in a few hours.
Cheers, guys.